Oh, sorry about that. I didn't realize that my mic was actually on the whole time. Hello. Yes, we heard everything. Yeah, I'm sorry. You heard me sitting there probably grunting and groaning. Okay. Let me get the tweet out and we should be good to go. All right, the tweet is live. Do me the favor, go give that some love. Plug this in. Sorry, I'm a little sluggish today, guys. I don't know why. I think I may be sick. I'm trying to. Let me go grab a drink, actually, too. Make sure I have enough liquid. Okay. Sorry about that. I did see people asking me some questions. Give me 1 second, as I'm still kind of getting set up here. I gotta grab today's sauce. Okay. I think that's oh, no. I definitely forgot something. I forgot actual OBS. Oh, what the fuck? Here we go. Okay, there we go. Everything's working. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hope you guys had a good weekend. Here is today's sauce. Go give the artist some love. Um, it'll be a pretty chill day for me. Chillaxing, farming. Maybe we'll watch some stuff. I'm not sure. I I feel like I've been putting off being sick for a while, and I think my body is beginning to scream at me. Um, Part of the problem is I can't call out of work right now because there is a major deadline for a project that I am working on, and it is just actually killing me at this point. So it is what it is. Is tomorrow's JP stream anything I want to see? Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be whatever the new event is on JP, so I'm excited for it. For reference, it's technically not tomorrow, though it may depend on where you guys are, but, you know, per my time, I believe it's about, like, 29, 30 hours from right now or something. No, actually, it's probably even more than that. It's probably about 40 hours from, like, right now. But yeah, basically it's Wednesday morning should be the stream, at least if you're on like continental US time. If you're somewhere else in the world, then yeah, it might be tomorrow for you. It just depends. That AP on this round for me? That's fine. This round's actually not that bad for me, but I can understand that it's bad for other people. I saw somebody on the YouTube side saying it's not bad for them. Congratulations. Although I will say, if you're for turning it, that's definitely a concern, right? But it is what it is. Somebody else was also asking me why content creators never talk about rolling for craft essences. I actually usually do. Where I talk about it, though, is when I feel like the craft essence is actually worthy of being rolled for. Usually that means that it must be a meta craft essence of some sort. And it is rare that we get those nowadays. I'm not saying we never do, just that usually I will point out, for instance, on this event in particular, I did point out that Apex is a very good craft essence. I usually make note of that. I leave that up to you and your guys' discretion as to whether or not to roll for it. Personally, I wouldn't roll specifically on a banner just for a craft essence unless that craft essence was a very make or break thing. Usually I'll let you guys know when that's the case. For instance, the last one that NA truly had was something like Honey Lake. That was not just a good craft essence, that was one of the game's best craft essences ever. So when something like that happens, that's when I'll tell you guys, hey, you don't have to roll, but you really should consider it. And that's kind of what my messaging will change to in that regard. Because again, there's nothing in the game that you have to have. It's just one of those deals where like you might kick yourself later and be like, Cat, why didn't you tell me about this? So that's why I'll sit there and I'll actually, you know, go out of my way to do it. But is it worth rolling to MLB something? That really depends on you as a player and how much you wish to spend on the game. Yeah, I would say the other thing is, and kind of more to like Shadow's point there, there are plenty of craft essences in the game, which means there are plenty of options. So, you know, even for something like Apex, there are other options besides just it. So if you feel like it's a strong CE, certainly you can go for it, but it's not like it's the only one of its type. There are other ones, and there are ones that are actually better than Apex. So it's up to you to determine if that's something you actually wish to devote your you know, currency to. If you're somebody that spends money on the game, that may be perfectly fine for you, but if you're free to play, it's probably not something you want to do. Again, forgive me if I have a little bit of congestion here, chat. That's just how I've been all day. Been kind of under the weather. It was funny because I went into work this morning and my dad even like stopped by my office and he's like, "You look tired." I was like, "Yeah." The problem that I'm having right now is I usually take a nasal medication, just like one of those sprays. It's Flonase, if you guys have ever heard it. And it helps me sleep at night. It clears my congestion and basically gives me a more sounder sleep so I'm not like, you know, congested and snoring and stuff in the middle of the night. Well, the problem is lately that's been causing my acid reflux to flare up some. So I basically am in this, you know, like weird limbo of like, I can't take the nasal medication because of acid reflux. So basically acid reflux keeps me awake. I can't take the nasal medication because of that, because it'll give me acid reflux. But because I can't take the nasal medication, I don't sleep as well either. So it's like I'm just damned if I do, damned if I don't right now. I would prefer the latter, to not take the medication and not get the acid reflux. because at least if I don't sleep soundly, sleeping not soundly is still kind of better than not sleeping. It's like sleeping soundly for a couple hours, but then not at all the rest of the time. Due to erratic weather, I've been upping my vitamin intake. I don't want to get sick. Yeah, I actually like right there before stream, like when I didn't even realize my mic was on, I had gone to the bathroom before stream and I was literally walking back and I stopped by my refrigerator, pulled out my jug of orange juice and just took like two massive swigs from it because that's how like under the weather I feel, and I just feel like kind of run down in general. Part of that is going to, again, be something like the lack of sleep there. But the other part of it is just, like I mentioned, I have been not feeling too hot in general. Looks like, God, it is Lartoria bonding day. I got her to bond 15 late yesterday, and now today... sorry, bond 14, not bond 15 on NA. And now today I got my JP one to bond 12 here. So definitely bonding her up. Ultimate anti-sick technique. That's literally why I started so I used to drink orange juice a lot as a kid and I had a great immune system, and I have not had orange juice very much as an adult. But basically what I've started to do here is these past couple months I've been buying orange juice for myself again, and I just usually about once or twice a day I go get myself a little glass of it and just drink it, and it's good. It's been keeping me kind of running, so it's definitely a thing. Cat didn't bond. Oh, you're right, I didn't. That's my bad. It's fine, and there's a little bit of bond waste, but it's nothing I can't handle. That is chat distraction at its finest. Extra sleep time, not an option. Well, would you like me to keep streaming tonight? This is quite literally the issue I run into is any amount of time that I could spend on something else. It's oh, hey, would I like more sleep? Sure. Okay. That either eats into stream time or what little free time I have. So it just is what it is. Do I have time to nap? No. Well, shit's CAD. It is CAD. No, I'd like the scuff for a sub. No, this isn't the Lotto, so it doesn't count. I only do that on the Lotto side of things. Because otherwise I'd have to count that for CQs and stuff too, which I also don't count. Broke in and rolled Breedomart, got her first multi, did a couple more rolls, try and get 4 stars, but only managed to get barred. Oof. Well, at least you got her, right? I know a lot of people probably feel like she's not that good of a unit. She's not the best, right? But and this is, again, the same problem that we always have. It's just we basically have this sentiment because Melisande exists, and it's I'm sorry, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but it's the truth of the matter. It's if Melisande actually didn't exist, people would probably feel a lot better over the competitiveness of the Lancers as a whole. So the fact that Melisande exists often makes people look at the other Lancers like they're garbage at this point, which is a problem. I don't blame that on Melisande. I blame that on the devs and how strong they made her. I also blame that on the devs for not buffing the rest of the Lancers. So it is what it is. But, Breedomart's still a good, capable unit. She's very comparable to Bradamante, and you guys will actually see Bradamante does get another upgrade coming up here. Part of that's because Breedomart, basically. So it just kind of is a thing at this point. Actually, you know what? Before we go back to NA, let's let me go spend the last little bit of AP here on some of these half cost strengthenings that I have. It's not like I don't have a couple. Did I use the Lartoria comp here? Do I have an AoE rider buster? I think I don't on my JP account. Nobody that's good at 3 turning, really. I have quick. I have arts. But Buster, no, not really. Like it's basically made alter there, and that would require me to change the composition up too much. So screw it. Oh my god, I did not bond grail her. It's gonna keep happening. But I'm gonna get double buffed. Yeah. Other than AoE archers, archers might as well not exist. Yeah, it's just a problem at this point that the game has, and it's like I don't know why the devs haven't fixed it, and I'm tired of trying to make up excuses for why they haven't. Right? They just haven't done it. I'm not sure why, and they need to get off their ass and do it. So. I didn't have Ozzy on JP, then suddenly I got spooked by him twice on the Da Vinci banner. I'm assuming I'm gonna get spooked by him because I took him with my my SSR ticket or whatever. Wait, was it the SSR ticket or was it the Destiny order? I don't know, but somehow I got him recently here on JP, and my immediate thought was, okay, now that I have him, now I'll get spooked by him finally. But he's one of the last actual like supportive characters that my account needed. So there's really like nothing I have to roll on JP. It's gonna take them unleashing like some sort of new meta support or another saber face to get me to actually like roll, let alone spend money. Took Ozzy with the ticket, did I? Yeah, there you go. Karen needs a battery and more damage mods? No, Karen doesn't need more damage mods. That's like arguing for Sigurd to get more damage. And while you can give them more damage and it wouldn't absolutely break them, the big thing that they're trying to do to balance both of them is that they're very crit centric. In Chiron's case in particular, he's party wide crit. So it's one of the things that you really want to like utilize with him if you can. I do get it, but Chiron also has other aspects to his NP that make him very difficult to stop. So I think making him have way more damage modifiers is not the solution. Charge though, charge I can hear. I think charge is just one of those issues at this point that like you either have it or you don't, and if you don't have it, you just feel totally fucking left out. So you don't really roll for niche units? No, I mean like most of my roster's niche in that regard. It's just like it depends on how niche we're talking. It depends on what that niche actually is. Like you could argue that Ozzy's capacity as a support is niche at this point. So especially with them kind of fixing things like Imperial Privilege on a couple of the units and some of the other random skills, you need the buff support success chance like way less. And so as a result of that, needing Ozzy is just not as big of a factor. But why do I want Ozzy then? Well, Ozzy still has party-wide charge. Ozzy still ends up in P-sealing enemies, and Ozzy still just hits like a Mack truck. So at the end of the day, it's still to my benefit to go ahead and grab an Ozzy. But yeah, it's like if I feel like the unit is relatively niche, and then on top of that, I don't particularly care for the unit, then it's no skin off my back. To do the CQs and the Nat AP, the 90 plus. Yeah, if you guys are like Nat AP right now on the current node of the Lotto, I highly recommend like doing your CQs and getting caught up on them. I am not, but that's because I just want the Lotto like done with as soon as I can reasonably get it done. I'm very busy at work at this current point in time, so it just is what it is. I'm kind of glad that basically, you know, I don't have to go as hard on this Lotto, but I'm still grinding it right there with you guys. I think like last I checked, I was at about 160 boxes, so we're doing good. Like I'm not like totally slacking, but this is admittedly like way behind where I would normally be in a Lotto at this current point in time, because usually I go very hard out of the gate. I don't know. I think it's like basically my capacity for this one kind of just fell off a little bit because I knew I didn't need to go as hard. So it's been difficult for me to like stay on task. You know, once you whale enough and you get everyone you want, you kind of want to roll. You kind of do want to roll anymore because you have who you want. I assume you mean don't. Like I invested in these characters, so I better enjoy it without worrying about the new stuff. Yes, and that's a great point, Air. And I'm glad you brought that up because it's something that I think the devs don't fucking get. Or if the devs do get it, rather, they're seemingly just saying like, hey, I don't care, I'm going elsewhere, right? And what do I mean by that? I mean that basically, I mixed that up. I mean that basically, I think the devs kind of have just said like, yeah, we understand you want to play those other characters, but we still need to make money. And while I get that, I disagree with it from a fundamental standpoint. I feel like the end goal for every gacha gamer in every gacha game is to get to a point where they don't have to spend the money anymore. Now, it's technically the game's job to prevent that. However, there will come a point in every gacha gamer's life where the well runs dry and they just say, no, I'm not spending money on this game anymore. I'm just not feeling it as much and yada, yada, yada. So I think like trying to squeeze blood out of the rock a little bit more, right? Like trying to get, even more out of the whale that you've milked all these years just comes across as poor form and leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. Look no further than NP6. Look no further than, fourth and fifth appends and how the community has reacted to those. And I think that makes a very valid point. Same thing with, leaving Bond capped at 15. Players want to be able to use their favorites. They don't want there to be a cap. They don't want it to be a point where, oh shit, I feel like I'm being penalized for using this character that I know and love. So I think that's where the divide is. That's where the problem is. The player base wants one thing, the developers want the other, and they refuse to meet us on any sort of common ground in that regard. It's just, nope, you're going to get penalized, you need to roll more people, yada, yada, yada. When the reality is, again, like you guys are saying, usually players have a type. For instance, chat, my type, and I know this is going to come as a shock to you, my type is big, busty, British blonde women. Okay? So it's kind of wild then when the game doesn't offer any big, busty, British blonde women that seemingly I become not a whale in those moments. And I just don't spend nearly as much on the game. I know it's a shocking revelation, but this is the truth of the matter, right? So it's like, I've seen people before complain and say, why are there so many saber faces? Why do they keep adding saber faces to the game? And my counter argument is if they stop adding saber faces to the game, I'm done spending money on the game. So it's to their benefit to continue to do so. And I know I'm not the only person that thinks this way. And it's the same thing that's true. Like I've admitted to you guys before that I felt like, for all those years where there was just no new Rin faces, it's like that was a fuck up on their part. Like I have no idea why they didn't seek to cash in on that at least like once or twice more than they did. It just feels really, really weird when the community clearly wants something, makes it known, and the developers seemingly tune it out. That's wild to me in that regard. My counter argument? No, you see, that's the problem. You think that's a counter argument. That's not a counter argument at all. If you think that's counter, if you think because I got a saber face, you can't get a Ren face, you're doing it wrong. Like you're not understanding that this is not a zero-sum game. We get, tons of new servants every single year. So there's no reason that we can't get, yet another version of some other character, right? That's why I've always said, like, it's usually just sour grapes and jealousy for why people complain about this stuff. And at the end of the day, I think it makes sense. And you guys have to vote with your wallet. If you're somebody that's, for instance, say a fan of like Medusa or Medea, and it's been years since your last iteration, you don't feel like they're doing it justice and you don't feel like you're getting anything out of the game anymore, more power to you if you decide to either not spend money on the game or hang up your cleats at that point, right? And I'm not telling anyone to quit the game or anything like that, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, I understand why people do. And I feel like that is on nobody other than the developers, right? Like, you're a player, you should be enjoying the game. As long as you're enjoying the game, feel free to keep playing. But when you don't enjoy the game, don't play. I think that is the ultimate thing that needs to be stated about any of these gacha games. That fundamentally, at their core, gacha games are still games. And if you're addicted to the gacha side of it, not to the game side of it, you might need help. We can't get new Medias because the VA died, right? No, that's definitely not the case. Do I think you won't get new Medias because of that? Yeah, probably, but it doesn't mean they can't. Lasagna's been really slowing down the servant pace as of late. I think that's a natural problem with slowing down events. You slow down events, you slow down story. We're not getting as many servants in the game? I'm shocked. I never would have thought that would have been the case. Yeah, of course it is, right? Like, literally, you have 3-week events instead of 2-week events, and you get a story chapter like once every 9 months right now on average. I'm not shocked to learn that we're not getting as many servants in the game right now, right? So at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I'm still going to say, if you have sour grapes over somebody else getting something that they want and being happy, that's on you. That's not on them. I'm going to be happy for the person getting what they want. For instance, chat, you guys know I have been a very outspoken person on this channel about the fact that, like, some of the, like, freaking Ren fans have been stupidly annoying over the past 5 years, right? Why? Well, because I have people that repeatedly come into my chat and complain. Same thing with Tamamo fans. Same thing with, I'm sure, Saberface fans and other channels, right? I get it, okay? Everybody has their annoying fans, and I'm gonna call them out when I see them. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I didn't go like, oh, Erish Kagal is out. Wow, fuck that. The Ren fans didn't need that. Like, oh god, that's like not another fucking Ren face. Oh my god, like, wow. Like, no, instead I was like happy that she was a thing, and I even went out and fucking rolled for her myself. Like, there's a difference there, right? One of those attitudes is just, if I can't be happy, no one can be happy. And the other attitude is like, hey, yo, I'm so happy for you, bro. I'm happy you got that. That's cool. That's awesome. Right? Like, it quite literally just boils down to being a decent person. I loved making fun of No Summer Erish. Oh, I mean, I made fun of it too. But, like, it's also one of those things where it's like, there's a difference between lighthearted jokes and just people that actually are, like, salt incarnate, and they can't let, like, anything small slide, right? Summer Erish was a meme the whole time. Yeah, 100%. I'm happy if someone can roll the rifle. Yeah, and I always feel bad for you guys if you can't, right? I understand you guys get bummed when you don't get the things that you want. And I always want you guys to get the things that you want. No, that's a pens. What am I doing in here? But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to like be like, oh my God, why is someone getting the things that they want? Like, usually the only times I'll complain about that are if I feel like the developers are really hammering stuff a lot. And in the past, I've only done that, to my knowledge, twice. Once I complained that they were way too fucking hard up for like Babylonia, because for a period of about 4 months in the game, we got like repeated campaigns for Babylonia. This was in large part due to the fact that they hyper fixated on it, still managed to forget someone like King Hassan and Erish Kagal, and then basically gave practically nothing to the Camelot movie in comparison. So yeah, I called them out for it, and they deserved it. The other time is, and this is probably a shock to you guys since I'm a Saberface fan and have a Grailed Barghast, but yeah, they focus way too damn much on LB6, and I have said this numerous times on the channel. I love LB6, but holy shit, they need to get the fuck off of it. Like, they are killing the game in that regard because it is just a one-trick pony for them at this point. They can't seemingly develop any other thing into that level of popularity, so they just keep going back to the well over and over and over again. And I get that, but there are other popular characters that existed prior to LB6 that seemingly are just locked in a closet or drowning somewhere in the depths, basically with no actual attention put on them. So at the end of the day, like I said, I've called them out on 2 of these instances, and it's generally because the devs get hard stuck on one thing for a period of time. But still, those are me criticizing the developers, not me like trying to be like, oh, I'm going to yuck someone else's yum, right? I understand other people like stuff. I understand other people want stuff. But yeah, I'm not going to go after you guys individually, unless you're being annoying. Holy fuck, I hate Summer 8. I mean, no, I didn't hate Summer 8. I'm glad they did Summer 8 and that it's gone and done with. Where I'll get upset is if, like, oh, all of a sudden Summer 10 is back to LB6 again, right? Like, that's where you just go like, holy crap, man, what are you doing? Come up with literally anything else. Did I still not? Yeah, I went into my actual grails. Where's my bond grail? Why am I blind? There it is. I'm also getting stun locked by chat. Next LB6 is or as Aximus, don't worry. Yeah, and like if they do that once, I'll be fine with it as long as they like do it and move on, right? Like it's, but you got to admit at this point that they have absolutely like almost every singular character from LB6 has had like their 15 minutes of fame at this point. Like literally to the point of development that I think any other Singularities characters would kill for that kind of attention, right? Like most of the characters in LB6 have a devoted event for them, and it's kind of fucking wild that they do. I want more Saber Wars, honestly, yeah. But like I said, I don't want anyone to sit here and feel like, oh, Cad's just a hater of LB6. I'm not. I look at this from the holistic standpoint of I can't imagine somebody that doesn't like LB6. If you don't like LB6, you probably quit the game already. And the reason why is because like it's just like them rubbing your nose in it constantly. Also, for someone that is like maybe even on the fence about it, you're probably sick and tired of it at this point. So it's where like I look at this and I just go like, yeah, this isn't smart marketing on their part. This isn't smart like scheduling. They need to actually like move on at this point. In the same way that, like, again, you know, they have lingered way too long on Cosmos and the Lost Belt as a whole. So it's just one of those deals where it's like the developers do need to be a little bit more like avant-garde at this point and trying to like change things up. Though I understand a lot of that's dictated by the writers and they don't have a choice in the matter. They're just bringing the script to life. So maybe it's not even a lasagna problem. Maybe it's a Type Moon problem. They shouldn't make events based around a single LB or story chapter. They don't really, like, usually they make an event to tell a story. That story, just in a lot of the cases, has been a very tangential thing to, like, you know, LB6. So it'll be like, okay, we have the Feet Tower with Balbon. Or, okay, we're going to tell Sea Monster Crisis with Morgan Le Fay. Or, okay, we're going to include Barghest in the background of a couple of these events, including Hakenden, right? Like, so you just start to sit there and you go like, huh, that's kind of odd. Why do they keep tying them in? And then you begin to realize there's a formative pattern there and that they're actually just doing it just to do it, right? Like, they're throwing them in because they know that they're popular, and that's exactly why they're doing it. All right, chat, this is a comp that Czar basically caught me onto. I don't think this will work if you don't have an NP5 Arcuid, but it do be do. It is plugless. It is 6 slot for the 90 plus. So at certain points, I have dipped down and done this as well. So just to kind of show you, basically start out by utilizing all of Oberon's first and second stuff there. You don't use his third. Use the Mystic Code charge skill. You put all of that on Arcuid. You can also go ahead and pop all of Kama's skills on herself at that point, and then you're gonna just kind of fire off the first NP. And Arcuid is gonna yeet herself up onto the moon and backflip and crash into people. And then basically we're gonna end up in wave 2, where we're gonna pop Arcuid's second and third skills, and that's gonna end up getting Kama the requisite charge that she actually needs, since you get the 30% by everybody affected by Millennium Castle Battlefield. The Kama goes ahead and fires off her NP. She basically chains somebody up and shoots lasers at them. And then essentially we are going to end up in round 3. And then from there, we're just going to kind of pop the remaining stuff that we need, which is going to be Arcuid's first skill. It's also going to be Oberon's third and the Mystic Code attack. Whatever Mystic Code you choose to use. Because again, technically any 10% works. So you just need to have that. Does Arc need a pin? Arc does need a pin. That is the problem with this comp. What MP levels needed for Kama? I have no idea. Technically, any 50%er can work, whether they get 50% from their charge alone, or whether they have append max and 30% or something like that. That could also work. So. Kama needs no MP levels. Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't noticed like a failure at that point. I could probably get away with, actually let's test it. Let's see if I can get away with popping like nothing at all on Kama. Here we go. We got Maestro. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about this one is the skill usage is rather wonky. There's no like good way to handle this, so it'd just be what it be. So let's see if I can spare myself the extra 2 Kama skills. You could even do your rail instead of Kama here. Yeah, it's weird because the Sphinx is male. So it's like, oh, is it male? Cool, I can kill it with any number of anti-male enemies. Okay, boom, boom. There, we have full cards, so let's see how she does without her actual skills. Now, this is my NP5, so again, will you be able to skimp on the skills? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, right? Yeah, she overkilled, so I don't even need to touch the other 2. So, admittedly, I've not run this comp very much, so I haven't gotten to really poke and prod with it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's perfectly fine. But I do feel like this comp is not wholly faster than my 6-slot comp for 90++, which is what I'll be showing you guys here next. You gonna try any of the CQs? Yeah, I'll probably try it in RT, but not until I'm probably done with my farming goals. Just to give you guys a reference here, I'm currently at, let's see, it would be 96 would be 160, and I've already opened 10, so we're just shy of like 170 boxes. What's the anime song? You can type current song and it should tell you. I think it's the remake opening to Tsukihime. Arc MP, this is an MP5 arc. I do think your arc probably needs to be at least like an NP3 or something to have a chance. That is the issue with that comp. You guys can see I'm almost out of my blue apples. I'm also out of my bronze. So not very much still to go. Did that not pop it? There we go. Now we're going to go to my other comp, and I'm going to explain this one to you, and you're all going to hate me because no, most of you cannot do what I'm about to do. So this is a variant of Avalon's 6-slot. It works, and it works for me and me alone, apparently. It would work if you use the damage sheet, but if you're going to use a damage sheet, there's better comps than this. So this is a 6-slot, as I already mentioned. I do have a maxed out Chaldea battle uniform at this point, which means I'm done with all my Mystic Codes again. The Oberon must be in P2 at least, and have an unlocked mana loading append. the Squirtoria must be in P5. And I'm going to say at least 100. Probably, like, you could probably do it with an actual NP5 and not level 100, but as I was talking with Avalon, you probably need to like pre-card certain waves and stuff like that, and it gets spicy. So I don't recommend anyone try to do this. But basically, the variant here is that I have substituted one of the Oberons for a Proto Merlin instead, which means I don't have to bond my Oberon and can instead use Proto Merlin for farming. So this do work, and it do be kind of funny. It's one strong Squirtle. Oh, yes, it is. It is a perfected Squirtle. Okay, so the thing you want to do here is you want to start out kind of in the same way that you would in the other variant of this comp by using all of Castoria's cards on Squirtoria. And then we're going to go ahead and swap for the Oberon here in the back. We're going to go ahead, pop his first skill, pop Squirtoria's first and third, and then pop Arash's charge. He's good to go. You're going to go ahead and fire off his MP, but you want to make sure you select cards that are not Arash's, because usually Arash will leave with somebody alive just ever so slightly. Imagine having Oberon or the male Merlin both hate me. Yeah, Proto Merlin's sneaky good for how she can modify some people's damage. So you can see, obviously, I have the arts up that she can give, but she also has her attack up. However, it also gives overcharge up, as you guys saw right there. The hilarious part is, in Squirtoria's case, Squirtoria has a nice little interaction with overcharge. That is to say, Squirtoria increases her NP gauge that scales with overcharge. So just like some of the other Saber Faces that get charged after their MP, so does Squirtoria. So it's kind of freaking hilarious because this actually just ends up working for me because I gave her the additional overcharge rank. You guys can see she's going to fire off an NP here. And basically, you know, she'll easily kill it, but it's not about easily killing it. It's about overkilling it. And essentially, I get one extra hit of overkill compared to most other people. That actually allows me to get to 101% refund, and it just works. Then I end up popping everything on Oberon there, and we're going to go ahead and basically fire off a multi-NP. The problem is this can occasionally foreturn. You do need to put Squirtoria's NP before Oberon's, because Oberon's going to put Invuln on everyone. But I'm still going to choose the Squirtoria Arts card for last in case something lives, so that she'll basically crit and refund back to full herself. Lady Avalon isn't Buster, so it's okay for her to work. Yeah, that's a good point. You can see I left about 60k there. Sometimes I like full kills, sometimes it leaves it with, yeah, about 60k. And again, it just, there you go. Oberon doing Oberon things as he cleans up the entire wave. Usually what ends up happening is not Charlemagne living, because he's pretty low there by the time the Squirtoria NPs. It's sometimes with an NP2, Bradamante barely lives on the left side with like about like I think like 12k is the most I've seen her live with, which is just, it is what it is. That's more of a factor of like Oberon NP than anything else. So again, the only requirements are it needs to be an NP2 Oberon, and I need to at least have their append unlocked. So you can see Ladraine works, and it looks like Ladraine is the only one that will work here for right now. But usually I know several of the people that have one that works. Urns works, for instance. Trying to think. Woodstocks works. Burnings works. I know most of them off the top of my head, but there's a couple that I'm forgetting right now. Basically, several people in the in my friends list have it. Gotta be of service, yes. Although yours isn't Lord Urn. It's thankfully fine. I just need it unlocked, but I did notice that when I went to go check it. I was like, wait, is that gonna scuff me? And I had to think about it. Because I have had one scuff where I took somebody that did not have the append, and I had to use what was at the time my last remaining command seal. I was not pleased about that. But it was what it was. I can't blame somebody for not having the append unlock. It's my fault for taking them. So how's my day going? My day's going pretty good. I hope you guys is going as well. I hope you guys all had a good weekend. I think I did my Oberon's mana loading. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't have to be maxed. Usually, though, you want to do Oberon's mana loading simply because doing his mana loading can facilitate like triple support comps where there's no damage dealer and it's just all Oberon. Like that's one of the really nice things about it. Also, Ice Nova, thank you for the follow. Sorry I didn't say it. And SD0G, thank you for the resub of 29. Adolfo, thank you for the 22. McTankles, thank you for the 52. Apparently, I was just not paying attention. Wesson, thank you for the follow as well. I blame my, I don't know, like tiredness on it at this point. Hello, Fenreeve. My NP3 Oberon, so should be fine. Yeah, you can use your own Oberon and take like a Proto Merlin or something if you can manage this. But if you're doing the normal variant of this comp, you have to use double Oberon, so you're gonna have that requirement. Okay, so NRTs works. I recognize almost all of them just like pretty much off the rip at this point because I've done the node enough times. I have gotten so. I got my first MLB at like somewhere north of 60 boxes. It was really like bad that kind of just kept happening, but it was what it was. And then it took me forever. Like even when I finally got the MLB, I basically went like a whole nother like 2 days before I actually. Oh no, I think it was like end of the day yesterday. I finally got my second MLB. It was pretty rough in that regard. Eyeless Poopa, thank you for the raid. Welcome everybody. How's it going? How was FGO? What were you guys up to? And thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Hello everybody. If you guys have never seen me before, my name's Khadroth. I usually stream FGO here weeknights, and we cover all sorts of content. Basically, right now we're doing the Lotto farm. We're doing 6 slot of the plus plus, which is kind of hilarious, but it is what it is. I'm close to my second MLB currently at 100 boxes. I know I was talking with like Creamy this weekend, and Creamy had like his second MLB pretty much by the time I finally got my first. It was wild. Like this Lotto just treated me pretty rough. How many MLBs do I have now? Just still the 2. I'm close. I think I need one more drop to MLB a third finally, and then like it's not really going to facilitate anything extra on my end because essentially I already have it. I already have the MLBs of my Squirtoria and my Rash, so there's not really anything else I can do here. Hello, Eyeless. Hope you had a good stream, and again, thank you for the raid. Welcome, everybody. Am I excited for LB7? I am. I'm excited for the story because obviously, like when I play JP, I never really get to read it on that end, so I just skip it and do the fights. But I'm excited to finally get to read it and get some of the holes that I have filled in. I do know several of the spoilers, unfortunately, but. I'll again ask that everybody please not spoil anyone else in chat. But yeah, it's one of those deals where I'm at least excited to kind of have it, get here and get some of the explanations that I'm missing. So I will be very excited for it. I don't know either way. Yeah, it's all good. Let's see. I believe AFK also works. Did I get KukulCon? Yeah. I can really say I'll probably be going hard on Cuckoo myself. I just really like her design. I have her NP2 on JP and she has done wonders for me. I want to see the type of numbers that an MP5 is gonna pull. It's gonna be disgusting, I suspect. Has Squirtoria ever left Charlie with 1 HP? Not that I've seen. Context makes it more fun than just hearing because you end up realizing when people just lie on purpose. You know, part of that's that reason, but the other part of it is too, I think a lot of people like they try to, speak with authority on subject matters when they're actually just not an authority at all. And they end up just like talking out their ass basically and like getting it wrong, right? So it's not like them lying so much as like they just actually didn't understand what went on. Cuckoo swimsuit edits for 2 months. And then they made Seal. Yeah. Hopefully we get one at some point. I definitely would like to see a Kukulkan summer. Yeah, I was surprised that they went with Seal. More because like I really feel and don't get me wrong about this chat, like do I like Seal? Yes, but I absolutely feel like we should not be getting new units as a summer unit. Like I love Proto Merlin same way, but she should have come into the game before that point in her normal form and then given us a summer unit. That way we get like, basically all the like iterations of the servant rather than like having to go halvesies where it's like, oh, we need their actual form and then we need their summer form, we have to ram it into the same servant, so by the time we do that there's only one form left that we can even run any sort of experiment with. So it's like I really would have preferred had they split those two, but I understand. I like this more, it's different for once. I don't. Like I said, if it was like the only way we were gonna get Seal, then it's fine. But no, I would have vastly preferred to have actual Seal, and then instead, basically, to have gotten a summer version later. A summer form of a servant that's still new over older ones. I'm okay with it, but only from the standpoint that like I get that they can't just like put all their eggs in one basket. They can't just all do like old units, right? So it's like I'm okay as long as there's like one or two newer things. But yeah, I do agree. It's like they shouldn't just make the summer entirely new hip units, right? That's kind of the problem that they had with Summer 8. Basically, is most of the roster there was very veteran. I think we had Kuro, and did we have anyone else in Summer 8 that was older? Trying to remember. Medusa, Medea, yeah. Those two have been Suzuka. Thank you. Those two have been missing for a long time. 90 plus versus plus plus. Which should I farm? That's going to come down to which one you can farm, especially for this node. The Charlie node in particular, the 90 plus plus one here, is really, really nasty because Charlie is star attribute, and so like Anima Elish doesn't work on him. Nobody really has good damage modifier against him, so it's kind of annoying in that regard for how he works. And then they paired him right alongside, if you can see in the upper left corner up here, it's Bradamante, so it's a Saber and a Lancer in the same node, which really makes you want to like throw in something like a Berserker or a Pretender, but there's problems with that as well. Oberon, ironically enough, is one of the best damage dealers for this wave because he's anti-lawful and most of them have lawful trait. But yeah, as to which one you should farm, roughly the equivalent is 5 slot of the plus plus is equivalent to 6 slot of the 90 plus. So it's up to you to determine. 90 plus should be easy for most people to do, simply because you should have the Summer Valkyries now. But outside of that, like it's still kind of a clunky node, and it's neither node really has altogether that great of materials. So it is what it is. Oh, I see that, Castoria. She's about to hit Bond 13. I have been very efficient with my Castoria on NA chat. I have delayed the inevitable for a long time. But I might not be able to delay the inevitable much longer. Story was over 3 years old at that point. Yeah, I get that. And I think like where people when they're saying like, hey, why haven't they done some of the older units? Where they're coming from is like there are still some fan favorites from back in like the first like 3 years there that haven't seen the light of day. And I get that. So it's like again, I don't feel like it's a problem that Castoria got it. I don't feel like it's a problem that any of the units got it. It's maybe a problem when all of them as a whole got them together and none of those like older units ended up getting one, right? So that's where I can say like, yeah, this is certainly an issue. Crazy Nick, thank you for the follow. Mr. Panty Thief, thank you for the follow, and Ilis as well. Appreciate it. Summer Boudica, yeah, Boudica is another one that people really want to see. I think I would love to see Boudica just get some more story involvement and not like the sister slash cook. I want to see Boudica actually get like story involvement and like character development, right? Rather than just being a meme or a gag character, I want to see her actually get some time in the sun. Old servants getting ignored for forever. Yeah, exactly. Seeds are in the 90 plus, but otherwise not worth the farm. Yeah, it's really funny because my JP account needs seeds, so I was like, oh, I'll probably need that on my NA. And then I looked, my NA account's got like 1,500 more seeds than it needs. I was like, oh, I guess not. I don't really need either of these rounds with regards to the materials they give, which is unfortunate, but it just is what it is. So at this point, I'm just purely pursuing the drops, right? Like the actual like C drops and the node itself. Do the Urail 6-lot comp, please. I haven't looked at that, and I'm not sure what it actually entails. If you tell me what it is, I can maybe pull it off, but it depends on what it requires. And I'm not sure I trust chat to tell me, because chat frequently leaves out certain certain requirements, like, hey, you also needed that append maxed out, or hey, this character needed to be level like 100. Urail is RNG. Yeah, it's like you can see this is not very RNG. That you guys haven't seen a failure yet. It can occur, but as long as I'm picking the correct Oberons, it shouldn't really be a problem. But I can occasionally foreturn this. I needed eggs from the first cup, but the second wave had a single enemy and I couldn't loop. Yeah, a lot of stuff like that. You either have to have somebody that has a brutal amount of charge, or you end up basically requiring what we like to call like a multi-damage dealer setup, where you're going to end up having to have both an AoE and a single target and kind of charge them. So that's like, that works really well with like Oberon and Castoria comps because they have the party charge to pull it off. But it can be difficult if you're like, depending on what composition you're using or something like that. Boop, there we go. I needed eggs and spinal fluids bad. Yeah, my eggs are actually really low. Like, I only have like 50 eggs right now in my NA account, which is wild, right? But then, like, if I pop open my Chaldea app, you'll actually see, like, I am in the future projected to just absolutely crush eggs. And I'm not sure why that is the way it is. Like, you can see, no eggs here, right? If I subtract out events, I would need 198. So we must get a ton of eggs from future events. Because, like, yeah, despite me only having 50 at the moment, I just don't actually need that many into the future. I hate farming eggs. You, in general, if you have to farm, like, free quests, you usually don't want to farm the gold materials. Though there's something to be said about, like, you just got to do what you got to do, right? Like, if it's the one material you need, go farm it. But gold mats usually have abysmally low drop rates, so there's not much you can do in that regard. Okay, that... Well, no, I'll be fine, because this is an NP5 Oberon. I was going to say, like, I actually messed up right there. I'm not supposed to touch Squirtoria's skills until the Oberon's in the party, but I'll probably be okay. Because you're supposed to rotate for Oberon, and then he gets Squirtoria's attack up. Ads have shown me I need to prime sub again. Also, I feel like Twitch is showing me more ads right now. 10 at once. Jesus. Let me go look at my ad settings. Because like I never go in there and mess with this stuff, so I have no idea. Here, let me keep the farm going. Where did they move this? Bro, I swear Twitch moves stuff around all the time. Okay, there it is. Yeah, it's set to run 5 minutes of ads an hour, which is normal. It's supposed to do that. That's their recommended amount to be part of the incentive program, which gets me more money. It has no estimate available. Oh, that makes me feel confident. The ad breaks are set to every 30 minutes. So, like, with 5 minutes an hour, I mean, like, I guess technically the amount of ads isn't the thing, but you should only be getting, like, every half hour you should get 2.5 minutes, right? Like, based off the 5 minutes per hour. So it must just be that Twitch is running, like, a bunch of shorter ads, I guess. But if you guys are getting more than, like, the 2.5 minutes, let me know, because, like, that shouldn't be a thing. Way too many units that use stakes. Yeah, that's a lot of your bronze materials need a crap ton whenever you have them required, right? And this is one of the things I don't like about the pure prism system. It's really a nice system, but it definitely incentivizes you to buy gold materials with it. Why? Because just like we discussed before, gold materials are crap to farm, and also because you basically get the same exchange rate per gold mat as you do per bronze mat, which is kind of dumb because it just basically means, sorry, it's not the same exchange rate. It's the same amount. So you can buy 100 you could buy 100 eggs, and that's going to be a significant portion of eggs. And then you can buy 100 of a bronze material, and it's like, that isn't even enough to finish one unit. So there's a huge disparity there between those two, and it's something I don't really care for. But yeah, I would tell you not to use pure prisms on your like bronze mats. I've seen banner ads being used more, which is neat because you don't miss anything. I wish they would use banner ads more often. I feel like that's the way to actually do it. But yeah, I'm sure at the same time, they probably don't want to do banner ads because they probably don't sell for as much. But the reality is they probably get better engagement on banner ads than they do on normal ads. I feel like normal ads incentivize people to ad block and to basically like ignore them, where it's like, chat, how many times have you been like watching a stream at home and you get like an ad break and then you just go and like you go to the bathroom or you go like get a drink? Like you don't even watch the ads, right? So it's like, I can't help but feel like that's advertising agencies and Twitch just not understanding the demographic. Because it's stupid, right? Like, I feel like the less intrusive the ads are, the better they are. Mute the stream and go to another tab. It is what it is. However, and I'm going to say this again because I feel like this has been a thing a couple of times here lately. I always appreciate you guys lurking, but just FYI, if you mute the tab, it does not count as a view. Twitch will absolutely weed you out, and I hate that. But it's just the way Twitch is. Twitch basically decided to go to war against like lurkers. And it's stupid to me that they do that. Mr. Steve, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Appreciate it, my man. You did not have to, but if you guys were lucky enough to get a gift sub from Mr. Lustvein, go give him some love. If I lurk, then I set the volume to 1. Yeah, as long as you leave the volume on like bare minimum, it helps. But yes, even if you like mute the tab and not the browser, it's still like they know, and it's terrible. I hate it. It counts towards Twitch drops if I mute. That's funny. That just means that like your browser is recording you still watching. It just doesn't count towards my viewership. It doesn't work if I mute the player or browser tab. Nope. They will still weed you out, which is stupid. Specifically in gaming stream, ads have impeccable timing, always interrupting the perfect moment. I'm gonna say that's not by design, right? Like, I'm just gonna say that that's pretty much just the case of like pure RNG bullshit. However, there are some people, like, for instance, you heard I run my ads like every half hour. There are people that will run their ads like every 15 minutes or every like 10 minutes. I don't understand that. That is like one of the fastest ways to get me to leave your channel. Like, where I can't even like figure out what the conversation is before I hit another ad break, right? Tonality, thank you for the follow. Welcome. The real issue is if they're going to probably or already have made so they don't count your tab out. Oh no, this has been a thing for like 2 years now at least. Like, they basically, a while back, I think, and I don't know why they did it, right? But they kind of just went to war against the lurkers in that regard. And I suspect it was probably to cut down on the amount of people who are able to apply for Twitch Partner. Because I think they kind of realized that there were a lot of people that were like just lurking in streams trying to boost people that were close. And I think Twitch doesn't like that, because then they have to give people like kind of more consideration if they're a partner. You don't really get a whole lot. I gotta be honest with you. Like, one of the best things about being partner at this point is just the fact that there isn't a partner plus program, but the vast majority of partners can't even hit it. Even for me, I've been very successful, and I'm not sure that I qualified for like the middle tier of it at some point, but I think I've fallen back out of it because like the game's just not been as popular here lately, so like viewership's been down. But like, it is what it is. I don't watch Twitch anymore. I just watch on YouTube with ad block. I'm sorry, it's just too annoying. No, I don't blame you, right? Like, it is what it is. And you guys are always welcome to go watch on the YouTube side of things. I will say, though, a lot of my stream is tailored towards the Twitch side of the experience. That's partially just due to me starting over here, but also partially due to the fact that YouTube doesn't have as many bells and whistles. So it just is what it is. But yeah, it's like, I don't fault anybody that wants to go like, hey, I don't like these ads. I will say the ads do help generate revenue for me. So if you watch them, I appreciate you. But I don't like watching ads either. Like, I'm fully aware of that. And this is also another really funny thing. So fun fact, chat, if you ad block ads, I don't get the revenue from that. That is to say, Twitch will stiff me on it because you ad blocked. I'm not telling you to turn your ad blocker off. It's just, it's funny to me that like Twitch is that freaking like petty about that stuff, that they're like, oh yeah, the people are ad blocking on your channel, you're not getting ad revenue for that. It's like, Jesus, man. They're all trying to escape the clutches of Takeuchi. Yeah. YouTube is at war with ad blockers, though. They abruptly stop working. Yeah, that is the other side of the problem, right? Like, eventually these companies are going to learn. And if they don't, they're going to learn the hard way, right? Like, they're either going to learn the way that they should learn from positive reinforcement, or they're going to learn from negative reinforcement. And that negative reinforcement will be, you know, finally when a company goes too far and basically the entire community just says, no, I'm not dealing with your crap anymore. This has been a thing numerous times at this point. So it's like I hope that at some point Twitch realizes that their advertisements are stupid, and I hope at some point that YouTube realizes that their war on ads is stupid. It's unbearable to watch Twitch on unsub channels without an ad blocker. Yeah. And trust me when I say this, chat, that like streamers have brought this up numerous times before. Now, so that you're aware, okay? Full disclosure. Let me. Oh, I shouldn't have done that actually. Well, I'll be fine. Boom. Uh, got myself out of a scuff. Yeah, full disclosure. Let me go look at how much I made off of ads last month. Okay, so that's so the past 30 days, I made a. Oh wow, that's actually getting way worse. I made only $161 from ads. Okay. Now, in the past, I've had times where I made like over $1,000 off of ads. And what I've tried to tell you guys before is like, there's a point where like I'm just throwing away money by not having this on, right? Like I don't want to like milk you guys or anything like that, but it's like I would be a fool not to do this type deal, right? So this is like actually the lowest I've seen my ad revenue in a long time, which is not a good sign for Twitch, but it is what it is. Takeuchi Raida and Nasu had to talk with her a lot in the games, 4 plus JP, and you can't make Lip have a Brazilian bikini tee back. Well, I mean, sure, but then give Lip a more wholesome swimsuit. But yeah, I'm not sure that was the actual discussion. 10 minutes between ads or bust? No. That's why I have it like, chat. I have my ads set to what I view to be like, this is fair to you guys. It's not constantly obtrusive and it's not like sitting there as like the max. So I'm like, I can dial up the ads more, believe me, and I don't want to. So it is what it is, right? Kept adding one detail she wouldn't budge on. I mean, it is what it is. FG was 4 plus and JP how? Wait, what do you mean? I mean, so it's really funny because I see people be like, FGO is porn, and I'm like, what? I have literally seen people call FGO softcore porn. And I'm like, listen. I'm like, you can maybe argue that something like Nikkei is, right? FGO, you can't. It's like, oh my God, there are women in bathing suits. Oh my God, have you ever been to the freaking beach? Like, I'm sorry, if you think that this is like too much in a game, oh boy. G-string bikini would get FGO banned, probably. No, probably not. I mean, I don't think they'd do it, but Summer Kama's the best swimsuit. Yeah, Summer Kama's literally naked, so she just has flames. These people have never seen an Azure Lane skin, right? And that's exactly why I'm saying is like there are people that just are like way over the top of this stuff. Do I think there is a level though that they need to like, hey, it's like this is the fine line? Sure. Yeah, I'm okay with that, right? Like, but yeah, at the end of the day, you see people all the time that like overreact to this stuff. Reminds me of a Genshin guy that said Arknight's character design is over sexualized. Oh, listen, one of the things I love to make fun of about the Genshin community is the fact that, like, so if you look at the FGO community drools over its characters. We have artists that draw our characters in skimpy bikinis and stuff like that. However, the game has that. It has characters that have big booba. It has characters that have ass shots. It has characters that, again, are wearing skimpy clothing, right? And then there's like Genshin. And like their idea of a swimsuit is you like still fully clothed. And like, then on the flip side, I love it because their community does the exact same thing where they drool over the characters. They have artists that draw the art of them and stuff like that. The thing that I always laugh about is that basically, like, they have to go to like every length to sexualize their characters and their fan art because they're not sexy at all. Like, that is the problem with it. Like, basically every character is like the equivalent of like the Gadako that just showed up on screen, where they are fully clothed, don't show any skin, and everybody's just at best in like tights. So it's something that is like really funny to me. And this is also funny because, like, we've now seen how with subsequent MiHoYo games, this has changed. They are starting to finally get that that was a problem and that they were getting way too stale with their character design. So I do find it funny to see that, like, now finally after all this time, the devs are like, yeah, we need to like make these characters better. So even in things like Star Rail and now Zenless Zone Zero, the character designs are getting a lot more diverse and they're actually like putting more effort into it, which is part of the reason that, like, when I had, you know, people again just like insisting that like Genshin was like the best thing ever, I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? They all are like design wise cut from the same cloth. Like, it's actually wild to me how little effort they put into some of those designs. They figured out a like core design that worked, and they just hammered it over and 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 over again, right? So that's one of those things. And I'm not saying like you can't like the Genshin characters or anything like that, but it was wild to me to watch, like, not only how, like, again, obsessed people would get with some of those character designs, and also simultaneously how like unhinged people would be on like Twitter and stuff, like basically like sitting there and like simping really hard for the character and like being like, oh my god, they're so hot. I'm like, bro, it looks the same as the last character, just with different hair. Like, it was never different when you see their other games. Yeah. Those of Hoya's characters look the same, so I get bored of them. I think, like I said, I think of late they've done a lot better. But it is definitely a thing that, like, yeah, for me, I've absolutely been like, wow, no, this is just the exact same design. They just changed it a little bit. Because they didn't get the Bunny Girl event? Yeah, I heard about that. Like, I don't know what to think about that, if that's like a problem on the like Chinese side, or if it's just like the issue is basically censorship. So it's more of a governmental thing. I'm not sure which at that point, because I haven't heard like the full story on that. But either way, I can safely say, no, the solution is not to try to assassinate the company's CEO. That shit's never tolerable, and nobody should ever stand for crap like that. I think it's the 3D model restriction. So, and this is really funny. Fun fact, chat. Let's use this as an example, right? So you guys remember like Bunny, right? Like, do I still have it on the scene? I do not. I'd have to add it, so I won't do that. But basically, my 2D animated model, right? As opposed to Aurelia here, who is 3D, who I can move around and I can do all sorts of stuff with. So it's like, I hear people say like, oh, like 3D models are restrictive. No, they're not. No, they're not. All of the effort goes into the initial making of the base model. Once the initial base model is made, it is way less work to do different outfits and stuff for the character. It is quite literally easier with 3D than 2D in that regard. If you're working with 2D, everything has to be done from scratch every time. Once you're with 3D, you literally, once you have it made, get to just keep doing it. And it's really, really nice. So it's like, that's something that I've been surprised by. And I get that it's a cost cutting measure on their end. But I'm really surprised that, yeah, like for instance, you know, the criticism was what? They had 5 different female bodies and 2 different male bodies for a long time. And I was like, yeah, I don't get that at all. At all, right? Like you had multiple opportunities to diversify that and like make it better. And I'm surprised that they just absolutely phoned it in that regard. Wanting a bunch of money for low effort. Yes. And that's why, like, so people are gonna like, I'll point that out. Yes, Genshin was a cash grab. It was, hey, we don't have to do too much here. We can cut a bunch of corners. And then they made billions off of it, right? So it's like, I don't think it's like denigrating to point that out. It just is the truth of the matter, right? Like, I'm not sitting here being like, oh, Genshin crap game. I am just pointing out that, yes, it's very clear to me that that is exactly what they did. It's one of those deals where people will get upset because they like the game, but it is ultimately the truth of the matter. And I think that's what's allowed them to go on and make things like Honkai and now Zenless. So it is interesting to see. And to me, what they probably should do is they should reinvest back into Genshin. And I think it would breathe some more life back into the game. Not that it's dead by any means, but Genshin is basically a shadow of the juggernaut that it used to be. And at this point, I would argue that probably Honkai at least has surpassed it. Kill gods, CEOs, and cultural Asia and is okay in games. Wait, what? I appreciate 2D more aesthetically. 3D hits me as Uncanny Valley every single time. I get that. And I think that's part of the challenge with 3D is making it like not so uncanny. So if you guys remember like the original Aurelia model that I had, like it did not look nearly this pretty, right? It was very uncanny. Whereas like this one, I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's like it's probably as close as I'm gonna come to that, right? Like, so at the end of the day, I absolutely see the potential that 3D can offer, but you have to be able to like maximize that if you're going to use 3D. If you don't use the 3D to its full potential, it's kind of on you for just being lazy at that point. Like for instance, if they were to do in place of the 2D sprites, 3D sprites and FGO, it would be a lot of work to get that set up. But once they did, doing additional outfits for the characters would be very easy. Very, very easy to do. To be honest, the open world genre fell off a cliff. Oh, I don't think so. Like, I think open world's still great. Look no further than like Elden Ring, right? Like, people love open world games. The reason that open world is a problem is so many developers get that idea wrong. They basically don't incentivize the exploration aspect of it nearly as much. And a lot of the times they just start stuffing it with boring, repetitive iterations of the content. And I think that's the biggest issue that open world has as a whole is so many people go, oh, open world games are great. They make a lot of money. I know, I'll do it. And then they start cutting corners. And because they cut those corners, it's not a great open world game. And sadly, there's kind of nothing worse than a bad open world game, because it just ends up being very boring and problematic in a lot of ways. So I think that's the problem that you'll have is like, would you rather have the boring open world game or a, you know, custom tailored theme park style game where everything's on rails? People will choose the theme park game 10 out of 10 times over that. So to me, where open world is it has the potential to be better than the theme park game, but only if you're allowed to be better. Only if they actually take away a lot of the guiding rails, really open it up, and stuff it full of entertaining and interesting combat and content, right? So, like, if you do that, your game will flourish, but most of those games don't. FGO Arcade doesn't have as heavy intention of jiggle physics like other games. I'd say that's also partially due to the fact that that's on an arcade machine. There is naturally going to be some limitations. And like, so for instance, if we're talking about like Uncanny Valley with the arcade models, yeah, I absolutely agree. I've had moments where I was like, that just looks terrible. As somebody, and again, pretty obvious now at this point why I had such a like insight into the 3D world. You guys can see what we were working on all these years. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I look at that and I'm just like, that's not quality. I wouldn't pay for that myself. Like, so there have been a couple of times I've seen an arcade model that looked like that. But keep in mind that part of the issue with that is that they are trying to do things in a certain way. They have certain restrictions, and it just ends up being the end product. I think like one of the things that looks really bad in arcade is when a character has very like robust hair, particularly a lot of the female characters that have like long hair going everywhere. It looks really bad with the arcade models when how they do that, because a lot of the times they have to like try and hold it in a certain position, and it just doesn't look natural. It looks very uncanny, as Chad has mentioned before. So I think that's one of the worst ways that that it really rears its ugly head. Good games are better than bad games, no matter the genre. Yeah, I agree with that. So, like, I'm not somebody that'll immediately look at a genre and be like, oh, that genre's bad. So, like, for instance, people will be like, oh, the RTS genre's bad. I'm like, no, there just hasn't been that many good RTS games in like the past decade. And part of the reason for that is because the big brains that actually designed those games are either no longer making the games, or they got fired by the companies that basically were making it. I know there's the people that made StarCraft banded together and they made another game, and I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's like Storm something or other, right? Which I've heard very mixed things about that, but it's still in its like open like alpha or whatever the crap it is. So it's one of those deals where I feel like things like that, they'll get better over time, but eventually there will be a game that'll come around and it'll be good. So it's not like the entire genre is bad. It's just that there hasn't been anything new in the genre that's been good for a while. And that is kind of the problem that you have with multiple genres that exist at the moment. Oh yeah, no, arcade has jiggle physics. It's not like crazy like jiggle physics, but it's got jiggle physics. Like combining three prism shops into one and just make it three tabs. I see, like, I don't have an issue with that. I don't think that's clunky at all, right? Because it's no different than allowing you to just basically pick it from multiple places. I do agree, though, that that would cut down on some of the bloat, but to me, that's not where, like, the UI issues actually exist. The problem that they have with UI issues at this point is simply, like, quality of life for the most part. They simply don't have the capacity to do certain things that we really need them to be able to do. So for instance, like how you can combine and put in like 20 of your experience cards at once into a unit, that's great. Why not more? And also simultaneously on the flip side, why can't we do it for craft essences? So it's like you see stuff like that and you're just like, yeah, that's an easy no-brainer improvement, but they haven't done it. And I understand that I say it's no-brainer, but there's more to it than that, right? Like, so it's one of those things where I get it, but it definitely reeks of like, yeah, why haven't they done it yet? And is there, like a manpower issue behind the scenes that's prevented them from doing it? Elden Ring took Dark Souls and bloated it with hundreds of generic caves and dungeons. Yeah, that's actually my complaint about it. Some of the content's still really good in that regard, but it does have its repetitive moments. It's just way less repetitive than most of the other open world games in the market. And I will say, if you were a fan of the Metroidvania style of the Souls games with their interconnected worlds and stuff like that, that largely goes away with Elden Ring. So that is something that I do feel like suffers, but that's just purely due to the open world format. Tower defense, though, if you like it, fair enough, but I just don't understand the appeal. Yeah, no, and this is something I think people need to understand. You're not going to like every genre of game. Why? Because you're not a clone. You're not the same as everybody else. You have things that you like, and they're different than things that other people like. So, like, that just is the way it is, right? Like, don't expect, and I think it's one thing to have an open mind and give it a try, but don't expect that you're going to like everything. And just because you don't like it doesn't mean that the product is bad. It just may mean that it doesn't appeal to you, right? Like, I've learned that with several things over the years. There are games that my friends love, and I just don't give two shits about them. And the reason I don't give two shits about them is either because I already played them and I know what they're all about and I don't care, or because I just know that that game style is not for me. And I just go like, yeah, it's like more power to you if you like it, but I don't. Like I don't look down on someone for liking it. It just is what it is. It's better to farm 90 node for Lotto currency after you finish the shop or continue 90 plus plus. 90 node? I wouldn't do the 90. The 90 plus, sure. But I would definitely make your choice between 90 plus or 90 plus plus. I wouldn't step down and do the 90 unless you're desperate. One game series I personally have really come to like is the East series. East 8, 9, and 10 were really fun. I've never played the East series. Because Yakuza makes money on a massive amount of advertising that works with the setting. Asset flipping so they can pay high-end actors. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me that the Yakuza games like reuse stuff. Game mechanics have copyright, which the single would have to pay to use. Yeah, I mean, like, that's been a thing with the Nintendo debacle, chat, but I just want you to know that, like, there's no way that'll continue to go on. I don't know the first thing about Japanese law. And I'm not, like, trying to purport myself as an expert. I'm simply stating that that is an untenable situation. There is no way they can allow Nintendo to hold such blatant fucking patents like that are so broad and overarching, and it not wreck the entire Japanese video game system, like industry at that point. So yeah, no, there's no way that's going to continue. Like, I just can't see it. And even if it does, I fully believe they will get sued internationally over it at that point. Like, you're gonna get like Microsoft and Sony pissed at them. Probably gonna do 90 plus plus because I need horseshoes. Yeah, I mean, horseshoes haven't really been a thing for a long time, so it's entirely possible if you're newer in any way, shape, or form that that you could need the horseshoes still. Yeah, you can't throw something and collect a monster. Therefore, Monster Hunter is no longer allowed to have nets in their games. Like I said, it's one of those deals. This is going to cause problems for them. I'm surprised the patent office granted it to them, but again, it's first come, first serve. I just assume that their patents will be challenged legally. And if it goes Nintendo's way, then the video game industry over there will practically die out. Hello, Turtle. How's it going? You met a Nintendo once from Pocket Pair is 60,000 and more erroneous part of their profits on Pal World. Oh no, they filed an injunction. They want Pal World to stop. So, like, that's their real goal, chat. It's not about the money. They want Pal World to cease and desist. It is all to cripple that product. Nintendo, is that a lawsuit? Yeah. Yeah, fuck that. I hope Pokemon loses. I do too. Like I said, like to me, it's not a Pal World versus Pokemon thing. This is a Nintendo versus the entire rest of the gaming industry thing now. People don't want to see it that way, but it is. Nintendo really overstepped with this. There is just no way in hell they are not like putting a target on their own back at this point. I think Nintendo made the lawsuit because Power World is backed by Sony. Yeah, that may be the case at this point. And like, I get it, but part of the issue there too is Nintendo, and let's get into this at this point, right, chat? Like, Nintendo has basically had this monopoly on Pokemon. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. However, they have been milking the shit out of it, right? They have been producing a game every freaking year with practically none of what the consumer wants. They don't listen to consumer demands. And they basically just keep pushing a new piece out every year without drastically changing it. It's the equivalent of the EA Sports games. It's the equivalent of the Assassin's Creed games. And, let's use another example there. If someone were to come up with, say, another Assassin-like game and it were to do better, should Ubisoft be able to sue them? No. And that name of that game is Ghost of Tsushima. So, like, it is what it is. I get that Pal World is a whole heck of a lot more on the nose, but at the end of the day, it's Nintendo's own fault for not listening to their consumer and for there being demand that went unfulfilled. Now, is that demand guns in a Pokemon game? No. That demand is an open world Pokemon game where you can build a base and train your Pokemon and do all this fun stuff. Things that literally Nintendo never bothered to try because Nintendo was just more concerned with milking it more and more and more and more and more. So again, like I said, I don't feel bad for Nintendo. To me, that's just desserts going their way. They basically have had this insane cash cow that they have just been absolutely taking advantage of. So yeah, eventually something's going to give in that regard. A lot of Japanese were in support of Nintendo here. Yeah, and I can see why, because a lot of it, like, they view it as duplicitous on like Pocket Pair's part, right? However, I think that's also the Japanese people not understanding the far-reaching ramifications of what, like, Nintendo just did. Like, the move that they pulled to be able to pull off this lawsuit, right? I understand they're on Nintendo's side, but they're missing the forest for the trees, I feel like. Or maybe we are, right? Like, I can certainly say I don't have every piece of the puzzle here. But to me, from an outsider looking in, this looks really freaking bad for Nintendo. At least in the court of public perception, which is going to hurt them in terms of profits eventually. And yeah, that's going to be the problem. So if they really go to war over this, chat, let's say they win these patents. Let's say they win this lawsuit. Let's say Sony gets pissed at them. Let's say Xbox and Microsoft get pissed at them. Then let's say they try to employ a game using those patents and they try to bring it internationally. What do you think the first step Microsoft and Sony are going to do over here in the United States? And in case you guys are curious, yes, Sony does have a very large American presence at this point. They're more of an American company than a Japanese company at this point. So it's really funny to see this, that basically, yeah, they're just going to lobby to basically get their game thrown out and not allowed to be put over here. So they're going to go to war over here in the States, and it's going to hurt Nintendo. It's like I said, Nintendo shouldn't do this. It's not a good look for them, and it's just going to end up pissing off their competitors. So I understand they're trying to defend themselves from competition, but they've gone about it in the wrong way, right? I think the way to respond to Pocket Pair would have been to just make a better Pokemon game. Just buckle down and say, you know what? You're right. Here's an open world Pokemon game where you can build a base and you can train your friends that you recruit in the world, and everyone's gonna love it. You can design your character avatar and everything. Boom, there you go. Here's all the stuff you guys always wanted. And guess what? It's Pokemon, so you guys love it more because it's the authentic deal. And had Nintendo done that, Pal World would have fucking died. And I really mean that. Pal World would have fucking died, because I can't tell you how many times like I've seen people that just love and obsess over Pokemon, right? Now, some of these people still like Pal World. But at the end of the day, I feel like most of these people would prefer the authentic product coming from Nintendo. So I can only say that this is Nintendo's fault at the end of the day. You're saying they'll blackball Nintendo here? Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it'll put a strain on any relationships on working projects that they have. So it is what it is. Nintendo and the Pokemon Company have always been very litigious. Yeah. And it just is what it is, right? Like, what's done is done. Nintendo can't put the Pandora's box like back in, right? Like, or sorry, they can't put Pandora back in the box is what I was trying to say. So it is what it is. But yeah, I feel like there are ways you do things and there are ways you don't, right? And to me, this is not the way you go about it. But to me, this is probably what their lawyers came up with as Nintendo literally like turned its eyebrows diagonally, got angry, and said, we need to do something about Pocket Pair. This is bullshit. And the Nintendo lawyers came up with, hey, what if we filed a bunch of patents? So like I said, like I get it, but I feel like that's what's going to backfire against them. Which both have backfired before. Yep. Moon Channel made a video explaining all the backstory of the beef between Sony Pal World and Nintendo. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure to a degree Sony also, like, Sony seems to, for a long period in time, just have this, like, friendly relationship with Sony, but I'm sure behind the scenes they're still competitive with each other, and there's still probably things that each other is pissed off at the other one about, so I'm not going to be surprised to hear that, like, there's bad blood between them. This is why they can't make a copyright suit but a patent suit, because Pal World isn't a Pokemon game. It has Pokemon in an Arc game. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it's not copyright because it's quite literally not Pokemon, right? Things have different names and different shapes. So is it very similar? Hell yes. It's absolutely as similar as you can get without being copyright infringing. But it's not copyright infringing. So it'd be no different than me making a game, calling it like Destiny Night Chapter, and then filling it full of a bunch of historical characters with big anime titties. It's like, as long as the characters each look differently, we're good. Plus, when it's historical, it's even better because, like, oh, I can literally just go ahead and, you know, put Arash in my game. And as long as he has a different design, you can't claim any sort of copyright infringement. Why? Because Arash is a historical figure at that point. So it is what it is. Like, you don't have the copyright on him either. You have the copyright on that specific appearance and version of Arash. So as long as I change it a little bit, yeah, I'm good. And can fate stop me from doing that? No, they can't. However, who will be more popular? Me or fate? Like Destiny Night, what did I say? Destiny Night Chapter will absolutely, I can't even fucking remember it myself, right? It will not have the same name recognition as Fate Grand Order would. And that's just the truth of the matter. In the same way, if Pokemon put out a superior product to Pal World would be forgotten very quickly. And look, I'm going to argue this point too. I think all this does is help Palworld in the end. If Palworld doesn't actually get shut down, all this does is help them because it's just rallying people to Palworld's cause. Whereas on the flip side, I think most people were forgetting about Palworld. I think most people were moving on. So this is going to have a Streisand effect at this point where, like, the more Pokemon keeps trying to take them down, the more people are going to play the fucking game. My character is a favorite heroine called Blade from the Blade class. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, and then we can have the Gunner class. No, we can't call it Gunner. Let's just call it the Shooter class. And then we can have the Spearman class. Yeah. And then the Cavalry class. And then the Mage class. And let's see. We'll call it the Rogue class. There you go. Yeah. And let's see. What can we call the last class? I feel like there's a good name for this. Okay, Zev got me. Barbarian, thank you. Yeah, Barbarian. I was thinking like Insane or Angry Man or something like that, but yeah, no, Barbarian works, so we'll call it that. Mind you, Berserker can't be copyrighted, right? You're correct. However, when you're trying to avoid copyright infringement, it's best to avoid it altogether by just simply naming it a different thing, right? That's the truth of the matter. Fate can't come after you for copyright infringing if quite literally everything is a different thing. And so instead of firing off, a noble phantasm, you fire off your holy ghost attack. Yeah. Because each one of them are ghosts. And like I said, this is just how it works. It's like this is how, like, all the, like, if you guys ever see like the cheap shitty like Chinese knockoffs of video games, it's exactly how they do it. They just change the word. That's all they do. They steal like 90% of the design and they change the word, and that's it. Boom. It's not copyrightable. We win. Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch? Yes, that is a holy ghost attack. You have to fight Catholics over the copyright of the Holy Ghost. I'm pretty sure that's not copyrighted, but I may be wrong. Legally distinct, yep. Deceptive eyes instead of mystic eyes. Oh, no, magic orbs. And then we all get to ponder our orbs, right? There are times we do the holy hand grenade, by the way. That's true. I'm going to ponder your orbs. Oh, my. Okay, here you go, chat. We finally got a failure. So this does happen. Again, you can see sometimes my Squirtoria just loops right back, and I do it again. To be fair, China mostly ignores most other countries' IP laws and just doesn't care. Oh, no, I'm aware. That's one of the things I don't like about China in that regard, right? But, like, it is what it is. Like, you just quite literally change some of it. And as long as you change some of it, you're good. As long as it's not, like, one-to-one, right? So, like, for instance, you could take Squirtoria and you could design a character exactly like Squirtoria. And then just, like, I don't know, make her hair blue. Give her slightly different bang structure. There you go. Legally distinct Squirtoria. Look no further, chat, than the fine lass over here on the left side of the screen, who is legally distinct in her own right. So it is what it is, right? Like, And it's funny too because I get like people that come in all the time are like, oh, it's Lartoria, and I'm like, no, it's not. But that just kind of is how it is. I can't tell which side's the front side anymore. Blue hair, red eyes. Yeah. Yeah. Blue hair, red eyes, dragon. Called it a stand. Remember the American comic creator in the 90s thought JoJo would never come stateside, so he made a rip of JoJo called Diesel? Wait, what? Artist, oh, Lartrea. Oh, no. So it's really great, right? Whenever I work with an FGO artist, hey, you want to work on my OC? Yeah, sure, man. What's it like? Ever drawn Lartoria before? I'm not even kidding. Like, it's one of the easiest ways to tell them and inform them. And I'm like, yeah, here's my my character sheet and all that stuff. But like, it's oh yeah, ever drawn it before? Here you go. It's pretty much the same thing. Just make sure you get all of her markings right, which is funny because it's definitely one of the issues that artists get wrong the most is like just the little markings and stuff. Cat, I now have an NP5 Lalter. Nice, congrats. Wait, where'd Aurelia go? She go to the store for milk and cookies? Okay, there she is. She's like way out there. Okay. Yeah, sometimes she has to stop before she returns back. I don't know why some of the dances just make her like keep going off screen like that. It's really weird. Okay, what's the C on Squirtle? Yep, just drop C. She's actually doing a pose there, but hard to see. Summer Ann should be able to do this. Maybe. The thing that's really nice about Squirtoria is the refund, right? So it's like I am quite literally full refunding at like wave 2 there. It's theoretically possible, but it is a thing. I haven't run the numbers though either. Like in theory, there should be a couple of archers that could handle it, but I think I saw a screenshot with her refunding 27%. Ooh, yeah, no, that would not be enough. Fluferus, yes. That's just redeeming everything I see. Oh, see. Okay, can I MLB? Can I MLB? Let's see. I have 2 MLB plus 6. Well, we only have 5 slots because one's taken up by the support. 2 are already MLB. That leaves us with 3 slots total. So gonna take all that plus 1, so 2 plus 1. Yeah, so I can MLB and break even. You can do it, chat. Get your drops. Yep. The rainbow is so satisfying. I don't know why. Like, this lotto just feels like the drops are happening exceedingly slow. I have no idea why. Maybe it's just I'm not, like, farming fast enough this time around, right? I don't know. Okay, I'm just checking my supports to make sure. By the way, chat, if you guys need me to change any of my supports, just let me know. Try to change things up. Though there are, like, sometimes people request certain things, and I'll be like, no, I'm not doing that. Yep, okay with that. Okay with that. Hmm. Eh. Yeah, I'll be fine. Drops kind of low this time, can't confirm. It's also confirmation bias because I've seen people that have gotten like a crap ton of drops already. So it's just like you win some, you lose some, chat. It's difficult to like actually be able to tell. Oh, wait, hold on. Because, well, let's see, actually. No, yeah, it shouldn't matter. I should be able to step down and do this node instead. Because, yes, I am one shy now. Which means... No, I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this. If anything, I should 5-slot the 90 plus plus. Which, what was my 5-slot for the 90 plus plus? I think it was double. Change it to that. Am I blind? Yes, there. Boom, boom, boom. It's only gonna be her that's gonna fit. There we go. Does Surfmo need a buff to complete with Habitrot? Surfmo is gonna trounce Habitrot and refund. She's gonna lose handedly in utility and damage. So, like, could she use a buff? I mean, yeah, but if you give Surfmo a damage buff, oh boy, shit's gonna hit the fan if you do that. Like that, quite literally would start to put pressure on a lot of other riders at that point. Okay, basically get to activate everything turn 1. You can do it. I can do it too. Yeah. Oh no, don't get me wrong. Like as long as I don't have my historically worst performance happen again, which is where I got to basically like 470 boxes before I ever got the max bonus. I don't know what was up with that lotto, but if memory serves, that Lotto was particularly bad. Like it was one of the ones that had like multiple other drops that could occur. And I just got shafted repeatedly. Like I either didn't get drops at all, had a really low rate, and then when I did get the drops, it wasn't the correct type. So like usually I'll be done and at max bonus before I ever hit like 200 boxes. This time around, it might be like a little bit north of that, but it is what it is. Like I'm not too worried about it. And if I don't get to max bonus, I don't get to max bonus. It's no problem. I actually have damage C here. I don't know how my Squirtoria didn't full loop, but let's try. See what I can do with a Buki NP5 with an MLB damage C. I don't think she'll kill, but yep. If I had a Squirtoria card, I may have had one, didn't see it, but oh, you fool! You totally insufferable idiot. Yeah, we'll do it like that. Wait, what did I get wrong there? Why did she low refund on that? Oh, she's supposed to have the damage C, not a Buki. That's what it is. That's what it is. Yep. Okay, so I inverted that. Trying to see if there's like anything else I can run that's better, but most of this is NP levels I don't have or units I don't wish to use. So it'd be what it be. When does Bradamonte get her battery? That's soonish, I want to say. I can't delete my own messages, apparently. Well, why would you be able to delete your own messages? Yeah, let's see. So I'm at 100k now, so 90, 96 would be 102, would be 70, so almost at 180 boxes. Not bad. Like I said, I certainly will not get to max bonus before 200. It would have to start like raining drops for that to be the case, and I don't see that happening. I'm using Muramasa. It's not pretty. Oh, listen, it is what it is. Where's that spreadsheet on the Discord? You can find it under the CAD guides section, and I'm sure Avalon posted it in the actual event guides. There also should be a guide link or something on the stream. Not sure if one of the mods set that up or not. MP5 Squirtoria, you can do the 6C comp at the bottom right. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing a simplified version of that comp because I have a 120 Squirtoria. So I don't have I don't have to do the one at the bottom. I basically get to save myself a couple button presses by doing it my way. Which I'm glad I was able to figure out, but it's not always guaranteed to be the case. Just using Nat AP until after this round is over, and then I'm going to go no life farm again. Let me see what the crap is for next round. Yeah, I mean maybe like round 3, the plus for the bells would be a thing, but I think the problem that I have with round 3 is that like it's just not like good for me in that regard. Like, I can't do the Mabe comp because I don't have an NP2 Mabe. I do have a Morgan that's robust, but since you require Mabe to be strong enough to be able to handle that spicy meatball level for me. And the only thing I could think to do would be to maybe, like, try to do slingshot memes with Made Alter instead, but Mabe's got the charge per turn, right? So, like... I, 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 Hold on. Let me think about that. Yeah, so Morgan already cheated and gave her the 20%, so I can't get around that. Blah, 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 blah. Mostly there for anti-man. Oh, she's definitely there for anti-man because it's one of the few things that you can actually utilize against Kentucky. You could probably whip out, Tyra. Oh, yeah, the ferry charge. I did forget about that. Let me think here. It's been a hot second since I looked at this. Some of the comps have become unfamiliar to me. Sorry, I'm also like in the background here still farming. just as proof, chat. um Yeah, so Mabe's giving the 30%. Boom, 50, swap in 70. Yeah, I don't think I could. Damn, you can't do any of these comps? Oh no, I'm just looking at this, but yeah, I don't have a Mel MP3, so that's not gonna work. And it's also a single target. NP is what that's getting used for. I could certainly 5-slot, but freaking Taigong Wang just absolutely obliterating there. An NP3. Is that a Paracelsus? Disgusting. Oh, look at that. A young Moriarty comp, chat. But he's terrible. You're not allowed to use. Yeah, some of these you gotta have the damage see leveled up a little. Let me think about that here real fast. Oh, I didn't want to do that, but whatever. Yeah, that MP2 Mabe is just oof. There's like she is very strong for this, and that's like the first time I've ever seen Mabe be that strong. Like, don't get me wrong, she's been strong, right? But like where she was one of the only solutions for something is just rough. What was the problem with the Tyra comp, Avalon? Because I remember we talked about it. I don't think she needs to be 120 to work. She probably does. That's a 1 million HP Kentucky. I want to say it was less damage? Really? Even with the Genji modifier? That's whack. I mean, the other issue there though too is that it's a quick unit, right? As opposed to May being basically being whatchamacallit, being Buster. Yeah, tell you what, I gotta keep farming, but give me like 5 minutes here, real quick. I gotta go do something. Gonna go to the bathroom and handle a chore real fast. Okay, sorry about that. Ruby X, thank you for the 17. Appreciate it. Oh, whoops. Didn't switch back. There we go. Okay. Back where we were. What am I doing? So I had I had a couple of thoughts, and we need to go look at Kentucky. But man, I was like, dude, if Jalter had her freaking charge upgrade on Hine, oh my god, that would just wreck face. Is this a 6C comp? No. I'm currently, because of an MLB, down to 5C. So I'm just running with the damage C on. I was doing a 6C comp before this, though. It's just this comp is arguably faster and easier. And I bond less units with it. The Avalon, you still handy? Okay, so he's man attribute. Man attribute. Damn, if only he was Earth. Yeah, Jalter would absolutely destroy this here. Okay, related skills and NPs. Obviously, that helps. Hmm. For sixth node in first round. Oh yeah, no, Valks are great. Yeah, we don't have her yet. Don't have her. Don't have her. Don't have her. But I just had a thought. Wow. Yeah, there's not a lot of man traded people. Or there are, but there's most of them are AoE, not single target. And those that are single target almost to a man do not have charge. Yeah, I thought about that, but that's Zerker on Zerker, and it's a 2-star at that. That's super effective against Star? No. That's it. Use Janako. Lulter, huh? Wait, what's the upgrade? Or what's the note here? Wait. Yeah, but Lolter doesn't have the. She doesn't have that upgrade yet, right? Isn't that the upgrade to her third skill? Yeah, and she just got this not too long ago on JP, I want to say. Oh, it's part of Lilim Harlot. Okay. Ooh. That's actually going to be coming out in roughly like 6 months. Man, there's just everything that's lawful and man is just not here. Kentucky's such a dick move. Especially at a million. He's a berserker, so people deal great damage, but the problem is being able to leverage enough charge, right? Because you need somebody to be able to handle the first two waves. So this naturally just causes problems. Hold on. Ah, fuck. So close. Man. Another 30. Yeah, the real problem is you can't death swap on this one. The waves are too robust. Um, we also don't have the Enkidu charge skill. Actually, this answers some things for me, though. The magic number's 30. No. I mean, hold that thought. Okay. Wait. Wait, I'm smarter than this. Hey Avalon, can you run me some numbers? Oh, sorry, Tonality. I have no idea why that got you. Why that sniped you. Um, let me send you a message real quick, Avalon. Yeah, 6 slot. Because I'm pretty sure I can make that work. I think it's enough. I think that should be enough firepower. Okay, back to what we were doing. Are you holding out on us, Cat? Because if it does work, I want to show it to chat next round. X.Y is a link, yeah. Usually if you combine the two, it'll assume it. I think it was the Summer BB abbreviation, probably. But yeah, I wish we had the Jalter battery. That would make it so much easier. The other qualification was if I can find somebody that has an excessively strong NP that's single target and has 30% charge, which is kind of difficult because like I have, for instance, a NP5 Shisho on NA. And that do great, but it's, you know, she's only got 20%, so that's not enough. Maybe 10% off because it's from 0. Nope. Here, allow me to explain. Yeah, and you know what's funny, Avalon? I'm pretty sure it's what I did last time. I'm pretty sure it's what I did on JP. And it was bullshit, and it was great. Now, I might need to make some adjustments, but it should work. That's why I was asking specifically about those two waves. I'm assuming Tom Lancer is always just too weak. You know, that's a good question. My problem is my Tom Lancer and my Bryn Hilder are both in P1. So, like, they might be able to, but let me see here. Kentucky Bryn Beloved. She is, or he is, might be able to do it with MP1. That would literally be the same comp as my first round then. Fairy Tale Servant? Yeah. Fairy Tale Servanto. It's for nursery crime. And Ellie. Oh wait, no, it's allies. Never mind. Okay, I was gonna say if that was like super effective against that, holy shit. But she doesn't have niche, but she'd be able to. Ryder Ellie would be able to pack quite a punch there. I'm just trying to think if I have any other like really strong single targets on, and let me take count of that again. Can I sort by NP level? Give it to me. Then let's filter by... Wait, it should be a single target. Yes. Yep. It's a level 100 Okita. Roll more Mabe, fix problem. There's no Mabe right now, is there? Only he was threat against humanity. And never the spirit origin tab under formation. Um, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. There's always a Meb right next to the FP summon. Yeah, 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 sure. My Musashi would be strong enough if I had, charge on Musashi. I mean, one of my Grails is going to have the best shot. Unfortunately, he's not Sky attribute. That would help out with her. Oh no, wave 2 won't be an issue, Evelyn. Maybe I used damage C last time. Bet your double X. I mean, my double X will pack a punch, but she doesn't have any trade advantage. Um, Guessing it's Eimer. Definitely sounds like Eimer. It is. It's refrain. This is from Kimetsu no Yaiba, isn't it, chat? Chuck another filter in here. Yeah, see, that is so much fucking damage if I can get an Oberon buff on it. It's not even funny. It's an MP3 of him. He's a level 1 Lotto C. Nice. Yeah. I basically am just taking support Oberons. As long as they're in P2 at least and have the append unlocked, it works, but it's not the greatest. This is the other problem. My Kentoki himself is down here at NP1. My Tyra's in P1. My Super Bunyan's in P1. So, there's a bunch of strong options that would be very nice here, and I just don't have them at robust and P levels. Kentoki himself is lawful, and what was it? He's lawful good and man. Damage C would be no issue at all, of course. Yeah, this is attempting to 6-slot the next round, chat, which is spicy, I will admit, but it's just kind of how it is, right? Like there's no guarantee that I end up kind of getting what I want from the node. It's just like Kentucky himself is one of those like odd units where he just does not have a lot of things currently in the game that can be exploited against him. If you had a really strong Brynhildr, that'd be a thing. If you had a really strong Tamama Lancer, that'd be a thing. I do not. And so this kind of is the issue. Is like Mabes is like absolutely designed to just utterly destroy him, but I only have an NP1 Mabe. At least I'm pretty sure. Let me double check that. Yep, only an MP1 Mabe. There is in fact a Mabe banner tomorrow? Wait, is there really? Is there actually a Mabe banner tomorrow? Check FGO news. No way. I don't see anything in FGO news. And the actual event release does not show it. We got the Singularity campaign on the side. Do we? Thank you. Disgusting. Don't make me get more fiats. Oh. That's like... That's so ingeniously evil. Like... That is like one of the smartest banners they have ever done. Like... I actually am impressed by NA. That is so well timed that I'm not sure if they didn't like if this were JP, I'd be like, oh no, they absolutely did that on purpose. With NA, I'm not sure. Like, that is so evilly timed that like it's perfect because she is just such a strong unit for this node. I've thought about getting an NP2 Mabe before because she is like a male killer, like 100% through and through. It's just like, do I actually want to roll? And I need to like max out that Mabe if I do. So like, there's part of me that's like, no, don't do it. The other part of me is like, you were gonna probably do it at some point. And then there's the other part of me that's like, bro, why are you even considering this? Over 29 runs without a CE drop? Oh, that happens. Only 29 first time. The timing though, yeah, the timing is nasty. Frostwolf, thank you for the 3 years. Appreciate it. Chat, can we get some love for Frostwolf? Thank you for the support. It's like a day before, too. Oh my god. It's like, it's so evil. It's such an evil fucking like banner. I just can't believe they actually did that. Consider, however, Mabe's hot. Mabe is hot. Mabe's just a bitch. That's like the truth of the matter, which some people are into. So I'm not going to yuck someone else's yum, but you know how it is. Isn't this where Edison gets the new buff? I have no idea. Like I said, I used to know things like that off the top of my head, but nowadays, nah, it's too difficult to keep track of stuff like that. I thought Mabe only cared about Ku and that's it. I mean, she's on the banner with Ku. Well, technically they're side-by-side banners, but you know how it is. She's overconfident but hot. Yep. That's like I said, some guys like that, right? They like a confident, sexy woman. Kat, have you considered walking away from what? From the game? Or from like my computer to my bed? When's the Cream and Bryn banner? Oh, that's another good point. Because that one, would I rather have an NP2 Bryn? I already have NP5 Cream, but I'd rather have Cream coins than Fiat coins. The question is like, can I leverage it to make it work? So Avalon, you wanna see if you can do me another solid here. So the comp works like this. We'll call it Bryn. We'll call it Bryn NP2, right? My Lartoria, which is, NP5 120. So it's basically like this. And I think it's maxed out append on both. Lartoria is 50% charge. Her 30% charge, that brings her to 50. Then I think it's Coin of Dark. 30 here as well. Then with the overcharge, that's going to bring Lartoria up to 40% on the next one. Then it should be Oberon, which is enough there. Enough there. And with Oberon's 20, yep, enough there. Wait, Lartoria or Bunny? This is Lartoria. So Lartoria basically for waves 1 and 2, Bryn for wave 3. MP2 Bryn. Lartoria would have to be doing it only under the power of the Koyami for wave 1, and then Oberon's NP damage for wave 2, which Tomatomo should be... He should be one of the chaotics. Oh, come on. Minamoto no tomato. There we go. He's neutral balanced. Ah! Oh wow, that is such a like ball busting unit to put in there. What the fuck? Like nobody has advantage against these two. 127k HP left. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's just fucking oof. Man, Attribute though has a whole looping system to counter it. Or what do you mean a looping system to counter it? Kametomo blocked that outright. Yeah, dude, that is so freaking nasty that they like this whole node. Yeah, I get that it's Genji themed, but this whole node is a big like it's the devs whipping out their dick throughout this entire like pretty much from round 2 onward. Round 1 easy. Round 2 onward, it's the devs whipping out their dick, slapping it on the table and being like, "Yeah, do something about it." And like you can't do anything because literally they use just some of the like hardest to counter units in their respective classes. How is the servant a loved one? What, Tametomo? Yes, I have no idea. I guess Bryn likes him. Well, so that actually makes a little bit of sense because Bryn herself is an automaton. Like basically all the Valkyries are. So like it's a thing, but yeah, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, chat. That is such a dick move, though. God damn. As much as this is hard for most units, Mellison just gets free pass. Yeah, I know. That just kind of is what it is, and this is exactly the issue with like a Mellison-like unit. Like you cannot balance the game around a Mellison-like unit, which then, if you try to, it just hurts everybody else. Anyone get a roll for extra copies of Mabe round 3? Well, I was just trying to see would that be enough firepower, because in theory, like I said, that magic number, I can make the charge work, but if the firepower doesn't work, I'm just... Ugh. I should have fired more during first rotation. Yeah. Ugh. He's not even lawful. Like, God. There's basically nobody in the game, chat, just FYI. There's basically nobody in the game that deals extra damage to neutral or balanced. Like, out of the 2 alignments you can have, those are arguably the best in both classes. Like, it's just not a thing. You don't get extra damage to them. And that's by design. Like they are meant to be this like in between so that it's not to either side. So yeah, it's like it's just a massive slap in the face. They did not want you dealing more damage to Minamono no Tametomo. Minus Khadroth drop, yeah. And she's not out yet, so save at kick W. Yeah, let's go in and let's use neutral archer say. That's a good one. We'll be fine, I'm sure. What could possibly go wrong? Hey, what's up, Retro? That's just blah. I don't see any other way to leverage enough damage for the AoE is the problem, because really what you need is you need a unit that deals enough damage to the like first 2 waves without really having to try very much. That's where someone like Morgan comes in. But even Morgan, like in that 6-slot comp, she doesn't do enough without Mabe's charge. So that is quite spicy in that regard. 331, yep. Yeah, and it would actually be better if it were 3-1-3. Because if it's 3-1-3, you can utilize the Korean Skya system to get cooldowns back for a third wave. But when it's back to back, it's very difficult. Cat is not a Say believer. I have Say. I just don't think she can handle that neutral scenario without me just absolutely selling out to, buff her. And then at that point, I'm just screwed on Kentucky. So it's this Lotto is either, depending on how you want to look at it, it's either a master class in node design and how to make a difficult node just by which enemies you choose, or it's a terrible iteration and abuse of the 90 plus mechanics, and basically they totally fucked up and should like reconsider. Like I said, this Lotto just kind of became infamous on the JP side of things because it was just very annoying to do, and you would get people that were like, oh, well, I can do it with my 120, kind of like you guys see happening here with my Squirtoria. And then people got really pissed over that. They were like, dude, I don't want to hear about comps of your fucking 120. If it can't be done without grails, it can't be fucking done. And I do kind of agree with that sentiment. Like, again, we should be able to have compositions that work without it. So the fact that there are so few that actually do work is kind of a problem in and of itself. But this is also where, again, this is the players attempting to 6-slot while the devs want you to 5-slot. So this just naturally is an issue. I think this is where 6-slotting shouldn't really be a thing for these nodes, but unfortunately, like again, as we were pointing out there, you've got units like Melisson out there where it can be done. And then when you start to look at it from that perspective, it starts to just be like, what the actual crap? And you really just begin to realize that, like, yes, like a unit like Melisson is too strong, and they kind of went overboard with her, and they should not have. So, like, it's an issue at play there because due to the fact that one unit can in particular break that mold, it becomes a huge problem and it incentivizes everybody to roll that unit and go hard into that unit. And this then causes a reverse problem of, if you didn't roll the unit, you're screwed. And if you did roll the unit to a high enough level, then you get to gloat and rub it in everyone's face. So it's not good for the developers in that regard, other than they make money off of the fact that everyone's rolling the unit. But the flip side, like I've explained and expanded upon before, is that if everybody rolls one unit, nobody rolls the other units. So that's the Melisson issue in effect, is like, it's difficult to make anybody else roll any of the other Lancers because why would you? You're just going to roll Melisson. So it kind of ends up as a problem in that regard. But thankfully, to my knowledge, this is like one of the only times this actually does occur. There's other nodes where Melisson's good, but basically from here on out, they stop being nearly as big of a dick with their like enemy choice in the nodes, and it doesn't end up being a problem in the future. With my MP5 caster, god damn it, what? Is that 6-slot? Why is that a thing? I know there's a really dickish Voyager 90++ node at one point. Yeah, there is the occasional node out there that's really nasty, but it feels like they pick and choose those on purpose. And to a degree, like, I think it's meant to like basically shut down other people. But yeah, I think the one you're thinking of is in particular a node where like basically like only Tiamat really worked for that node. And it was very much if you had Tiamat, it was great. If you didn't, it was like, go fuck yourself. Actually, was that the one that we had earlier in the year where it was Izumi no Asora, the twins? Yes. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, it's like, I remember that being a thing where it's like, hey, there's an alter ego that's a new unit for this event. It's perfect for oh wait, it's not. Actually, only only Tiamat can do this. It was really fucking stupid. So there are the occasional one like that. And I want to be clear, chat. That doesn't mean that like she was the only one that could do it. It's just she was the only one that could do it that efficiently. So it ended up being a case where it was again a haves versus have nots. If you rolled Tiamat and you rolled her at a high enough level, you were Gucci. And if you didn't, you had to like struggle bus it or 5-slot it. They needed to be a bit robust, yeah. Last event, JP, nice Cosper drop you got there. It'd be a shame if Tiamat farmed the node better. Oh, like if you guys remember, I did Kukulkan for that node too. Like the hilarious part is foreigner on foreigner violence is a thing. So like, yeah, it's like, oh hey, even though you designed this to be done with the event unit, I'm screw your event unit. I'm doing my own with blackjack and hookers. Yeah, let me see. So you said it's a Percy Mabe. Oh wait, this is round 2. Hold on. Like I can do this one, but this is 5-slot. It's not in the sheet. I'm gonna need you to send it to me. I was just thinking about that. Yeah. Yeah, even here with Mellison, it's Mabe and P2. Okay, so there's Tyra at NP2. But that still requires Percy and P again. What the shit? Yeah, so I thought about Shisho. I can do this, but that's MLB damage C. And that still comes in shy. But I have an NP5 Shisho, so in theory it can be done. It's just spicy meatball. Wait, why is Percy so strong here, though? I feel like there's something I'm not remembering about Percy. Does he have modifier on his NP? I'm just not remembering. No? Okay. And it's only one turn. Yeah, I don't know. Freaking Castoria buffs, man. I'm just sitting there going like, what the heck? Earth attribute does give him an edge, yeah. Well, that's one of those scenarios where refund-based units will be a little bit stronger. Is when it's like, again, you have back-to-back nodes like that, so it becomes difficult for Buster to leverage its cooldown advantage. Because a lot of units won't be able to get back in time. His damage is like Melts with her attack up, yeah. Which I know doesn't make Melt fans happy, but it is what it is. As far as I'm concerned, due to the deranged Melt fans that I've seen on Reddit before, I don't care. I like Melt as much as the next guy, but like, goddamn, there's some really crazy people out there. I've seen people insist, and like, not even like tongue in cheek or like straight up like having any sort of like awareness really even of what they're saying, but they're just insistent that like Melt was the best Lancer in the game and stuff like that. And I'm like, I understand that you like Melt, but if you can't like budge an inch on the fact that like this is your preference and not an actual fact, that's like actually unhinged to me. Melt is love, Melt is life, yeah. Well, and especially, like I said, in a game where like Mel exists right now, it's like, that's a tough claim to make. What's the point of a command if no one inputs quotes? Well, why would anyone quote me? It's not like I say the same things over and over again every stream. Especially because if you were to quote me, I say everything terribly and out of context, so it would just get very, very bad in a hurry. To be fair, for Melt fans, if you're an M, it's a really good S can drive you crazy. This is just me erasing that comment from my memory so I don't think less of you, Strom. Like I'm reformatting my brain real fast. Okay, on to the next one. So Percy is just chop liver to Melt. No, like that's kind of the point that Avalon's making is arguably Percy is just better Melt. Because the issue that Melt has is while she does have a charge skill that works really good, it drains her allies, which can cause problems. And really, her damage only peaks on that turn, which makes it a problem in and of itself because basically she can run into issues in prior turns without said buff. Her refund is never really deniable. It's always been her damage that's been the issue. Oops, time to buff OG Melt 2 more times. Yeah. Honestly, in that regard, I think it'd be fine for Lancer Melt to get an upgrade at this point, but I think the upgrade would need to be pretty measured because that balance and that cadence of the AoE Lancers at the 4-star level is like there's Lalter and then there's everybody else. But the everybody else is pretty tight knit and like in line, so it's kind of an issue. Almost popped that. Percival's damage on turn 1 is higher than Melt with her 3rd skill. Yeah, and that's why. Like Percival basically just ends up kind of being naturally strong, and then he's tanky to boot. Some people want to get their head crushed between a pair of muscular thighs. Listen, Bob. I'm right here if you want me to do that for you. OG Melt should have poison damage. Yeah, that would actually be interesting if she worked kind of similar to how like if she was like a 5-star version of Robin Hood at that point, right? Or you crit remaining HP for a wave, or you're 10% off with Mabe with your Castor MP. Yeah, that's like I said, the issue, especially for Buster, is going to be utilizing the charge there to like bring it effectively into wave 3, while still maintaining enough damage. That's the problem that it's going to have. The second you throw in damage, it's fine, but like it's a very, very like sneakily evil node. Everybody remembers how bad the second node was. I think a lot of people did not remember like how annoying the third node could be. But I think also by the time the third node rode around, everyone just was like basically gaslit into being like, well, it's not the second node. So I think people just 5-slotted it and just like said whatever. You have no legs? What do you mean? I'm not Lieutenant Dan. Crush an apple with one hand? What? Wait, why would that matter? Why would you need to crush an apple? Why don't you just eat the apple? Be an actual man. Eat the apple. Show me, show us. You don't pay my sub. Because Malison works on wave 3. Well, it depends. You can use her as a single target, or in theory, you can use her as an AoE. The AoE would have a little bit of problems. If you tried to just 3-turn the whole way. I'm not saying you couldn't, just it would have some issues. That's what someone's into, not going to kink shame here. Listen, I'm going to kink shame them, but I'm going to kink shame them because my kink is kink shaming. So you can't get on to me for kink shaming. It's how I enjoy myself. But yeah, no, I'm just in a really unique and weird spot for this third node where it's like it relies on certain units and they just happen to be units that like my NA account has. It just doesn't have them at a high level. So it's like, oh well, it is what it is. If I can't do the third round that well, then it'd be what it be. And like, it's not that I won't be able to do it. I just won't be able to do it as efficiently as I'm currently doing this node. Granted, if I never see another C drop, we're going to be stuck like this. So at that point, that I can just 5-slot anyways. And this is like why I tell you guys, like if you pay attention to your craft essences and you MLB early, sometimes you get stuck at something like this where you're like, you still traded even, you didn't downgrade, and you're stuck on 5-slot instead of 6-slot, but it's actually to your benefit because you're still getting all the same advantage as if you were 6-slotting with the lesser amount, and you're literally just sitting here and going hog wild with a arguably faster, less cumbersome comp. So it works out quite well. So cat is an M? No, wouldn't that make me an S? Yeah, okay. I was going to say. He completely understands Mabe's appeal, but doesn't want to admit it. Wait, what do you mean? I completely understand Mabe's appeal. Why would I not want to admit it? Like, there's a difference between understanding, though, and being into it. I give you my CE look. Oh, thank you. Does your CE look good? Yeah, I just mentioned how freaking broken Jalter is. Yeah, no, like I said, I could in theory use Jalter, but somebody's got to be able to deal enough damage in waves 1 and 2. Like my Jalter for sure can kill the fuck out of Kentucky. But I have to be able to leverage it. And this is where, like, her getting that 50% charge. I know people were really upset when she got the 50% charge, but I'm like, it's actually, like, not that crazy that she got this and she did need it. Especially when units like Enkidu existed. You get out enjoyment out of the fact that Ishtar is just deleting a Lancer in wave 3 despite the class disadvantage. Oh, I'm surprised you're using Ishtar. Not that she's incapable. I know people have strong Ishtars, just that basically you do have to overcome that issue. And wait, did I? Okay, thank God I didn't actually pop the Mystic Code. Just that she also has like kind of a slow MP. But again, time isn't everything. If time were everything, I wouldn't be doing a 4 NP comp here. But that's using Castoria Bond again. Yeah, I mean, that's my issue here. Like I said, my freaking Castoria is about to hit Bond 13, I think it is. Which, like, by this point in time on JP, my Castoria was already Bond 15. And had been for a while. So the fact that my NA isn't even to Bond 13 yet, it's kind of wild. Like, It's just how much better I've handled the bond on my NA account compared to my JP. But this is like, if you're gonna use your meta supports bond, this is the time. Just do it now during the lotto where you're pushed to the fucking brink. Like, don't do it necessarily in like your normal events where you're not on a timer, really. You're just on nat AP. What's up, Pika? How's it going? That's a 4-turn. It happens. Yeah, I can't even see how much bond is left here on Castoria. It just looks like she's right at it. That's why I'm fine with it. Yeah. I mean, I'll try not to use if possible, but if there's no way around it, it is what it is. And the thing that is still to this day too good to be true about Castoria, she just does so much freaking party charge that it really makes multi-damage dealer setups like this really good. This is why, like, again, when I was talking about doing multi-damage dealer setups in 90++ nodes, I find in situations like Lottos that, yes, I end up having to do them quite a bit, but outside of Lottos, I don't end up having to do them very often. I normally break out Oberon after I got him to Bond 6, but I got him to Bond 7 just from this Lotto. Oh yeah, I mean the nodes here, especially if you're doing like 90++, it's a lot of bond in general. You fly right through it. Like, chat, I blinked and I went from like being about halfway through the final like thing on my my Mystic code. So, and that was still like I needed like 20 million master experience. I blinked and it was full. And I was like, huh? Like I capped it out sometime like early Saturday, and I was like, I didn't even notice this happened. When did this happen? Like, because I just basically sat there and just muscle memoried and like, it's really fun being able to like turn your brain off when you have the comp memorized to AT. That's why Tez is also nice for those comps. Yeah, Tez is really good. Finally get Oberon to Bond 11. Now I'm working double X by using her in this node. Double X in this node. Well, I mean, you got the sabers, but are you using her kind of like how I'm using Squirtoria? How are we coming on this? 104 still? Yeah, I haven't been able to grind very much. Oh no, wait, no, it's 102 was the next one. So let's see. 90 is 150, 96 is 160, 102 is 170, so we're over 180 boxes. That's not bad. And I've been not going too hard in the middle of the stream. Again, I kind of am able to grind a little bit more at work because I can just have it in front of me. In theory, I should be able to grind more during stream, but I don't know. I get distracted by you guys. Work, on the other hand, is not actually much of a distraction from grinding. $104 tickets and you're only on +9? Yep. I mean, it happens. Like I said, I've been to the point where I didn't have max bonus all the way at like, God friggin' what was it? Also, I don't think this is +9. I think this is +10. Unless I'm misremembering, but maybe I'm off. But yeah, no, I have not had like that many drops. How many drops do you have currently? Well, I have 3 MLB. I have 3 MLB and 2 to spare, so what is that? That's 15, 17 minus 4 is 13. So I've gotten 13 drops overall. Again, it's not like terrible. I'm not sitting here saying I haven't gotten any. Just the rate is pretty bad for me this time around. Is that +11 by this point? Or are you already past me? Like I said, it's been kind of funny this time around because there are like several people that I know where it's like normally I'm way ahead of them and instead they're all way ahead of me. Part of that's the bad CE luck. The other part of that's just I'm not going as hard. So this has been a much more chill Lotto experience. I'm not really getting burnt out from it in the slightest. Already acquired 225. Nice. I'm at 95 so far. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, again, just the usual chat. Don't ever feel like pressure from somebody else and what they're doing grinding. Like it is what it is. People are gonna have more than you. People are gonna have less than you. Don't feel bad about it, no matter what, because they're not you, and you have your own set of circumstances. You can get angry at yourself if you're not grinding, like you're not staying on task because you're being ADHD. But that's, you know, it is what it is, right? Didn't get my first MLB one yet. Yeah, that's how I was too, Beans. It's like some lottos just hate you in that regard. Even again, like you're sitting there. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. You're sitting there and you're like, I am literally doing the best possible node over and over and over again. But it's just RNG be RNG. Sometimes you get the drops early in a lotto. Sometimes you get them late. Don't call out my ADHD. Well, I have to. That's the only way to get you to pay attention. Because when you're ADHD, you're off focus otherwise. We're gonna do that just in case something lives here. $200, I'm done with this lotto. Nice. No. Yeah, I would still make sure if you guys are like, if you've already hit your farming goal, make sure you at least come back for the third round and like clear out the fights at least initially, right? To what? You're distracting me right now? What am I distracting you from? Where am I actually making you focus? Just maybe not on the thing that you wanted to focus on. My first lotto in this 90 plus plus felt more like a challenge quest. It will. Like I said, do it at that point, do it the one time and then like step down to 90 plus if it's easier for you. There's no reason that you have to do it. Because lottos are all about like getting the most you can within the time limit. Assumingly you needed like all of that, right? If you're still new and you don't feel like you can use all the resources, it is what it is. Also, highly recommend. I have an older video at this point, chat, but if you guys are new and this is your first lotto, please watch my mailbox stacking explained video. Do yourself that favor. It will allow you to save so many embers if you're not already aware of how mailbox stacking works. So that way you don't have to waste anything in case you end up like getting caught out because like you've done a ton of boxes but you don't have the essential materials to ascend someone. So I can really help you out. Farmed 100 boxes till now. Nice. Good job. Yeah, like I said, like you guys don't have to sweat it too much. Just get as much as you can. Like if it's your first lotto, getting as much as possible is just really gonna be to your benefit. I almost did that like that was the third turn. Chat's doing a really good job distracting me right now. I managed to get 150 boxes from 90 plus round one. I got about like 120 off the first round. So I've done like 60-ish today. Which is funny because now I'm actually running a 6 slot, whereas like I wasn't before. You're gonna watch it again. It's a good reminder. Yeah, it is. Like, it's just a tactic that like basically whales used back in the day, and it's still very good for kind of just hoarding embers. It's less important nowadays since we have things like 5-star embers, but if you just want to be efficient, you don't want to be wasteful, I highly recommend doing it. Domin comp for 90 plus is very quick. It is. I just don't see very many people with the Domin up on my friends list, so I just was like, I was gonna do it, but I guess not. Yeah, let me see. Let me see if I have somebody that has it. See? See what I mean? Yeah, it's only in P1. Yeah, it's fine. I can show it to you guys tomorrow. I don't need to do it right now because I risk messing up my muscle memory at this point. Yeah, how close is my Castoria? He is 20,000 off. Fuck, I'll probably hit that before I go to bed. And I will certainly hit it before tomorrow. Yeah, it's double Doman and Nyalter. I guess it technically doesn't have to be Nyalter, but she does work because she's chaotic evil herself. Call me out. I can use my Doman then Gladius. Had to friend half a dozen people to get consistent Doman. I believe it. Like, I don't have my Doman up. I guess I could put it up, but it'd go up in place of my double X. I assume people aren't really using my double X though. Once again, we need a second extra slot. Yeah, I think it's time at this point, especially with all the like beasts and stuff now in the game. Like, they really need to look at that better and handle it better. I like having the all slot, but we definitely need like some sort of bifurcation on that extra slot and allow it to be like, again, like maybe the two triangles. And then I don't know, like maybe like Shielder goes in one and Beast goes in the other. I don't know. At least a slot for both, yeah. Like that'd be the only way I could think of to handle it. Just split it like class score. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's more just about providing people with more options than anything else. Like, it's really funny, right? Because they have the oh god, what is it? The mechanic on JP now where it's like you can suggest a support for a particular fight. And I think that's incredibly dumb. I think they probably had to do so much coding to make that work when they could have just like expanded the existing UI and infrastructure that they already had, for again just adding more extra slots and stuff like that. Because like I understand having a specific support for a specific fight, but it's very like cumbersome on the person with their support list to have to like figure out which particular fights they want to put up the unit for. And I don't think it really works long term. I think most players will just reach a point of apathy and not do it. Like, for instance, I haven't done it at all on JP due to the language barrier. Your avatar looks pissed off sometimes. It's funny. My avatar doesn't have a whole lot of like wide range of emotion, so it is what it is. Usually if I look pissed, it's probably because I'm like squinting rather than anything. Ken, if you want to show the demo one, he's on all. I don't want to go to the all slot. Don't make me do things. My level 1 Dioscuri that's just rotting as I have other higher priority investments. I see. Spreadsheet only has 6 E comps for 90 plus. So My advice would be to take one of the 6 CE comps if it's possible, like if you can get close to that limbo, and use the damage C in place of that. Like if you can get close to some of those, that would be the better option for you. But do you have like support restrictions in that regard? Like certain units that like do you not have like say a Castoria or a Koyanskaya, that sort of stuff? It's not hard to come up with a comp. I don't have Castoria and Oberon. Okay, so do you have like a Scotty or a Koyan then? Didn't have a banner since it started. Yeah, it's all good. Actually, ironically enough, both will have. Well, Castoria had a banner, but Oberon gets one at the end. I think doesn't Castoria get another one? Chat. Does anyone remember? I feel like there's another one coming up here in December with Castoria's name on it. Man, I keep just wanting to press that Mystic code in the second turn here. She's about to get one after Lotto, yeah. Koyan waiver for first round. 80th box feels good. Nice. Do you have an AoE Berserker or an AoE Assassin? Sorry, I'm just thinking. You'd have to use like a charge C would be the problem. Because those two are only your only two meta supports. You're just gonna have a hard time leveraging charge. Like for instance, between your Morgan and your Space Ishtar, both those units have 50% charge on their own on their outright. And you obviously have like literally Waver and Koyan to be able to charge both of those. But the issue at play is that leaves you lacking for like basically the middle wave. And that's where that's gonna get spicy. Not having like loopable refund options definitely hurts. I use Morgan with charge sheet. Yeah, it's pretty much what like the only thing I can think of that you could do is like basically Koyan waiver and try to like take like somebody's Oberon or something like that. Oh yeah, yeah. You could also do 50% C and just have your waiver in the back and do double Koyan. That'll work. One day I get Oberon on the Koyans. I don't really wear. I'll have more of a fish or a very stingy dolphin. Yeah, I'll tell you guys in general, I tell you that it's usually a good idea to get like your meta supports because they just really help you. Like, so there's two arguments to be played. I can go the waifu route or I can go the gameplay route. Go the waifu route. Picture your favorite unit in the whole game. Now picture not having the appropriate support for them. So it's like if you have the actual meta support, it just makes like every unit that works with that unit that much stronger, right? So it's like your favorite unit, do you want them to be stronger? Cool, get the meta support for them. Simultaneously, if you want to look at it from the gameplay route, there are just certain compositions and strategies that are just simply not available to you if you don't have those supports. And usually what I tell especially new players to do is you need to try to get those meta supports like kind of as quickly as possible. You don't need every single one of them, but you usually are going to want at least like 2 to 3 50% chargers. From there, the game opens up a little bit. You still want the others, but you can be a little bit more relaxed as to how you go about getting them. But once you get them, your entire strategy changes and you go to being able to like 3-turn just about every single node outside of like, you know, crazy stuff like this that we're seeing. And it just makes the game a lot more manageable for you. You're able to farm a lot easier. You're able to take on more challenging content. And it really helps propel your account to new heights, as having those sort of extra efficiency units just really, really makes you a more robust and capable player. So again, it's not something you have to do, but it is a like quality of life thing that I recommend every player does. I hope 800 Saint Courts will bag me Castorian Oberon. I hope so too. As you know, in this game, unless you have 900, there is no guarantee. So that's the issue at play at the moment. But in general, I would tell you to like go after whichever one you feel like you can't live without first, and then let the other one decide, because their banners should have some overlap. I'd have to double check that. And it definitely depends on how like NA handles the scheduling of that compared to JP. Let's see. The best metas to have on friend support are Castorian Kain Sky. You know, you say that, but this entire event I've taken, like pretty much for almost every single composition, I've taken Oberon. It's actually been kind of wild how much I've used Oberon support this time around. Okay, where was I? So we want here. So JP is another server. They are the primary server technically, and they are 2 years ahead of us. So if I want to see what NA's upcoming schedule is, I just come in here, go back to 2022, and boom, there you go. So you can see here is the Fairy Night Cup that we're currently on. We are currently in the midst of the like pre-release campaigns, or sorry, the Singularity Repair campaigns. And let's see. There's Road to 7, number 6. This has the summoning campaign for Oberon and Oberon. Does it not have Castoria? What? That's wild. So his banner only lasts for about like a week there. Trying to remember where Castoria's actually was. Yeah, do you guys remember which one it was under? It's definitely not there. Is it the pre-release? Part 1? Yeah, here we go. Okay, so Castoria should be coming to us around this date. So it says November 23rd here for JP. Currently, we are 2 days ahead of where JP was. So if everything stays as is and nothing changes, you can expect this November 21st. And simultaneously, Oberon, as December 16th here, you could expect him December 14th. So, yeah, don't you love it? Right after the lotto ends, you basically get access to Castoria. But yeah, I do recommend rolling for Castoria first. Castoria, especially when it comes to challenge content, she is like kind of unsurpassed at the current moment in time for what she can enable you to do. She's not like got the sustain and healing, but she just blocks incoming damage for you, so it's really, really strong. She also like just kind of buffs the party in general, so it's really, really nice. 2 days remaining on the second obstacle. There's still 9 days in the event. Wait, is this a full 14-day event, chat? Or was it a 10-day? No, this is a 14-day. Sweet. Yeah, most fest events are 14 days. I had to think about that, but that's great for me because that just means I have even more time to farm. 7 days for round 3. Yeah. But okay, chat, it is 11 o'clock for me. Time flew by for the stream. We got a lot of grinding done and a lot of talking done. Let me see who all's on. Who I can give some love to. I'm gonna send you guys over to Mr. Fino. I haven't gotten to raid Fino in a while. He is doing some variety at the moment. But again, I will be back probably tomorrow. I don't know. Like, my schedule's kind of wonky this week because I got like doctor's appointments and stuff, and I have to do stuff for my parents, so I have no idea if they're gonna like make me do other crap. But anyways, I will keep you guys informed. Just plan on it tomorrow, and if I'm there, I'm there. If I'm not, I'll let you know. So again, thank you guys for being here tonight. I hope you guys have a good one. Good luck with the lotto and your CE drops, and go give Mr. Fino my love, and I will see you guys tomorrow.